first, and then we'll open it up to any other impromptu questions. I see Darren's not answering you. Sorry about this, guys. Darren. Does he have the link to this Discord, Josh? Can you post the link for him, please? Oh, he did. Yeah, you're right. I forgot. I couldn't remember if we did it in the Discord or if we did it on Twitter. All right. Look at all of you guys. I love that we have so many people here. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, the AMA was a little bit delayed. I know Tony said that he wanted to do it last week, but I've been traveling. I was traveling, and from just so most of you know, for most of the time, I spend most of my time in Thailand. But I'm back in the U.S. for just a couple of weeks, and then I will be going back to Thailand in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I'm not exactly sure, but I will be going back there. That's my main, I guess, place of residence, kind of where I stay most of the time. So it's just been a little bit hectic, coming back just to see family and stuff like that. I haven't seen anyone in like 2 years here, over 2.5 years. I hadn't seen any of my family. So yeah, that's kind of my situation and why the AMA took a little bit longer. I don't know what's going on with Darren, so maybe I'll just get into talking about the token, because I don't want to keep you guys too long. I hate AMAs that go on for like 3 hours straight and people don't talk about anything half the time. So I want to say that I respect everyone's time here, and I'm just gonna jump into things. And if Darren shows up, then I'll put a pause and I'll let Darren talk about the game, and then we'll switch back to talking about the token. I just need to find my document. Okay, so first of all, I have to lead with this kind of stuff because when we're talking about a token, we get into we have to always think of, especially on a docs project like this, we have to think about the legal aspect of launching a token. And just so everyone's clear, we have retained, well, not yet, but we're signing it, I think tomorrow. We have retained legal counsel with an attorney who specializes in launching NFTs and crypto coins to make sure that everything we're doing here is totally legal and we don't do anything that's going to get anybody in trouble. So I've been instructed to lead with, anything I say here is not financial advice, and that I am an advisor on the Warrior Alliance project. Also that, this is not a security that we're talking about, and that, we're excited very much so for the community engagement in the project. And as far as, I am a US citizen, but to be clear, I'm just visiting the US to see my family. But I will be going back to Thailand, which is essentially my home, and I'll be staying there for the foreseeable future. And that's basically the legal stuff that I'm supposed to say. So I just had to get that out of the way. Regarding the token, okay, we've gone back and forth about a bunch of things with the token, and you guys know we did a big poll about should the token have a transaction fee, or should the team have a large allocation to help, not only stabilize the price of the coin, but also fund the project. And if most of you remember, you voted to have the transaction fee, which is 7.5%. So the team, the way it's looking right now is the team is not going to get any tokens. And the token allocation we're looking at. So I'm going to go through everything about the token. First of all, the token name we're targeting is going to be Ammo. Subject to potentially change, but it's looking like we're going to go with Ammo, which is AMMO. We're going to issue 10 billion tokens. Not all at the start, obviously, but it's going to be 10 billion hard cap. And we're going to have the following token allocation. 25% is going to be set up for staking issuance. So anybody that stakes, 25% over time is going to be issued via that. 15% is going to be set up for liquidity in the liquidity pool when we launch the token. 5% will be for marketing efforts. Just 5%, very low amount. 35% will be for gaming issuance. So when the biggest thing about this is we're going to make this a play to earn game, right? So we want to have a large amount for the game, so we know that people are going to want to play the game. So 35% for gaming, and then 20% is going to be for the private NFT holders as a part of a pre-sale. We're looking at 20%. We may change this because right now, just to be completely transparent, we are in talks with Seedify and Red Kite about also doing a pre-sale or a gaming IGO, however you want to call it, on their platforms as well. So we may have to take we're looking at 5 or 6%. We may take and split between those two platforms. Now, to be totally transparent, if you are an NFT holder, you will get earlier access to the tokens and for a lower price than anyone on Seedify or Red Kite will. Okay, I understand these are pre-sale launchpad platforms, but in case anyone's wondering or thinking about that, as OG NFT holders here, everyone here will have earlier access to the token and at a lower price. So don't think that just because I should go buy these tokens and sell my NFTs so I could get more of the ammo token when it comes out versus holding the NFT. That's not the case at all. Everyone here holding an NFT is going to get the best price and the earliest access. That's been our promise since the start. Now, regarding the token transaction fee, we're looking at 7.5%. Okay, and the breakdown is 2% for marketing, 2% for game development, 2.5% to be placed into the community vault / staking rewards. If it's staking rewards, it will be used to essentially buy back the token and to keep our token price up. Because obviously, as we issue tokens, people are going to want to sell them, and that will put downward pressure on the token. So this is one way that we're thinking to try to keep the token from losing value. Another thing is 1%. The final 1% is going to go to liquidity. Okay. So there have been a lot of questions regarding staking. It looks like Darren is here. Darren, you're here?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm here.
Hi, awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna pause talking about the token really quick, guys, because I was about to jump into staking. So we're gonna pause it at staking. I went over the general tokenomics, and then I was about to jump into the staking part, but I don't want to keep Darren too long because I know, Darren, I know you're very, very busy, and I appreciate you coming on. I wanted to have Darren on just to talk about how, to confirm that we signed the contract with them recently. Woohoo, awesome. And
Yeah,
I think you've received all the payments, right, Darren? Are you still waiting on one more?
yeah, we're working on some of the stuff, but we're all good. We're all good.
We're all good. Yeah. I was hoping that maybe you could just give a small 5-minute overview of what phase 1 of the Warrior Alliance game is kind of looking like. Just give a high level overview, and maybe we'll take a few questions before we we let you get back to I know you're super busy, like I said.
I did. No, I've got about a half hour if you guys need me.
Okay.
So we're all good.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so do you think you could give like a high level overview of what phase 1, basically our entire contract that we just signed? Maybe I know we broke it into multiple phases, but let's say for the sake of sanity and just easiness summary of this in this AMA, let's say all the phases are combined together for this, for your summary.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, the first step of building a game is what we always call the shopping phase. I'm not sure if I went over this last AMA or anything, but now that we're like in full motion, it's time to go get the ingredients, create the ingredients, have everything to make this beautiful meal, right? So you can't make a meal without ingredients. So let's get all the assets together. So what we're doing now is we're starting concepting. So we're building out an underground kind of futuristic. If you guys have seen Demolition Man, kind of that underground futuristic world, and it's going to be a training simulation, like a training facility. So basically, if you've seen Demolition Man or any kind of futuristic cyberpunky, there's like steam everywhere. There's pipes. There's maybe like the last scene sort of in Terminator 2. It's kind of like a forge. Everything's hot and things like that. We're doing that for the first environment. So It actually got launched today. We're doing 4 zones of the first training simulation. And let me actually pull these notes up while I'm talking to you guys. But I mapped out. Sorry, one
Well,
second.
maybe Darren,
Yeah.
maybe you can even give a higher level just to start,
Okay.
because
You
they
want
don't
higher than
even
that?
know they don't even know that we're doing a training simulation.
Oh, okay. That hasn't been spoken about. Okay. Sorry.
Or yeah,
Okay.
they don't know almost anything.
Oh, okay. So you just want to know what the first contract is for? Okay, gotcha.
Well, why don't you yeah give a quick overview and then go into detail because that was interesting.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
got
even
some
know
cool
about
stuff. I was
those
gonna.
four. Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
cool. Okay, great.
I mapped out 4 sections today. Okay. So basically, there's a larger plan for this franchise, but the first step we're taking is doing a simulation based simulation training training simulation for the first version of gameplay. So we had all this stuff mapped out for a very beautiful title as a whole, but we wanted to take a first step into the franchise and get you guys in there and start playing it. So we're doing a training simulation. We're doing 2 choosable characters, several weapons, and you're going to be able to load in, choose your weapon. These are going to be all custom. Every single thing is going to be custom in this, which originally we were playing with the idea of some pre-made things here and there, but we know that the community is very picky and they want what they want, and we want that custom feel. So we decided to go the custom route. Tony and I talked about it, and so we're doing custom design. We're looking to get sponsors down the road, different guns, different gun companies that are out there making actual weapons today. We're going to be incorporating those sponsors in there one day. Once we kind of come to the table with some of them for your weapon choices, the attachments to your weapons, grips to your weapons, scopes to your weapons, all that stuff. But you're going to be able to come in and you're going to be able to shoot in a target range. You're going to be able to, do what you've kind of seen in some other titles before. Maybe if you played a little bit of Call of Duty down there, before, but making decisions, a good decision, bad decision based on what's a terrorist, what's an innocent person. You can make that choice on how to rescue somebody. There's breaching buildings. There's search and rescue simulation parts of it. So it's going to be kind of challenging your tactical mind. If you guys, like that tactical feel, obviously you do. That first build will be the training simulation of picking these 2 characters and arming yourself and really jumping into what is the beginning of the Warrior Alliance lore. Like this starts the entire adventure to what the franchise is about, and it tells you we're going to tell you about the characters. Who are these characters? Everything's going to have kind of a lore tie into it, especially what I'm going to talk about with the underground train, like the way we're building this underground training simulation. That's got a whole lore and storyline tied to it too. So I think is that good for you guys? Is that a good kind of overview for the first
Yeah,
version?
I think that was awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Darren.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit more detail that you were going to share.
Yeah. So
Did
this
you?
is really
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I was getting a drink while you were talking. Did you touch base on that? We're actually going to have like a little competition that people are going to be able to participate in.
Oh, I didn't talk about that yet. I didn't know if you wanted me to
No.
talk about that yet.
Yeah. So guys, okay. So this is why we're going with a little training simulator. First of all, the reason is because one, we want to kind of figure out the gameplay a little bit, get a feel for it, get some community. This is a Web3, right? The whole point of Web3 is that everyone, any normal person can invest from the beginning and participate on the final within the final outcome. So what we decided to do is we're going to make a little training mode because we need that for the final game anyway, right? Every game, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Darren, but I think every game kind of starts with like a little training mode. You drop into some zone and you learn how to play the game. So we're going
Right.
to need this anyway for the final game. So we thought, okay, as a beginning mode, why don't we make a training mode, which we need anyway, and we can figure out some gameplay from that training mode. We can have the community actually come in and test it. We're gonna have you guys come in and test it. Anyone that holds an NFT is gonna be able to test it and give feedback. And then on top of that, we're going to once we iron out, I'm sure there's gonna be some bugs, but once we iron out the bugs, we're going to run little competitions. And we're not sure if it's gonna be a weekly or a bi-weekly or a monthly thing where you guys are gonna do a run and gun, basically I mean, Darren, what would you call it? A run and gun
I would say
like
run and gun's
point
the best way to do it.
run and gun kind of mode quickly where you're gonna try to rank up the highest score, and whoever gets the highest score at the end of the week is gonna get some kind of reward. maybe it's a free NFT, maybe it's some ETH, maybe it's some tokens. We're gonna do something to encourage, fun competition with the community. And this training mode, the other cool thing about it is like a full AAA game like this takes, I mean, Darren, it's probably takes over a year at least to build, right? Minimum.
Oh yeah, yeah, at
Yeah.
least.
So, we wanted to do something where you guys can play in the short term. And I think the timeline, what was the timeline exactly we're looking at right now? Is it like two
Are we
months?
talking about the full
Two?
title? Or are you talking about the first training simulation?
No, just this training simulation.
Um, we're talking about 3 to 4.
Like
I
two,
mean,
two,
I,
3 months or so, three and a
so
half.
so I like to give myself a little cushion because I don't want to get in trouble because
Yeah,
Tony
true.
will get mad at me. But the old under promise over deliver kind of thing. It's just I would say realistically 2 to 3 months, but um, again in game development, if you do run into some things, let's say the community is testing, and they go, hey, by the way, the guns are like there's clipping against the wall, or the guns fall out of your hands while you're running. Like some things you just can't always silver bullet stop, and so that's why we want the community to give that feedback. Obviously, they're going to want us to make the game that they want to play. So
Yeah,
we're going to make the most beautiful thing we can. But when you start getting into testing, is when you're going to go, oh, crap, I didn't notice the steam was coming out the wrong way or whatever. So we got to go through there and kind of trim it up. So I at least like to have at least 2 weeks to fix bugs. That's just kind of
yeah,
where I'm at. But 2 to 3 months, kind of circle back around, is kind of where we're at for the first starting point of the franchise build.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I think that makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys on why we're doing things the way we are. Um, Darren, you were gonna mention where, because like I said, we just signed a contract last week.
Hmm.
So Darren's just started, and I think you were gonna go into what you started on.
Yeah. So basically, let me pull up my notes here. Okay. So I've had a great time today because this is one of my favorite parts of among all the cool things. But I love designing worlds, right? That's like one of my biggest things that I enjoy because you're pretty much just coming from nothing and making someone being able to jump into something that you came from your brain. So I am a total nerd for Demolition Man. Tony and I had a fun time talking about the future feel. Again, if you guys have seen that movie, if you haven't, jump on YouTube while I'm talking and pull up Demolition Man, kind of future city. But basically, I came up with what we're gonna do for the first concepting before we get into 3D modeling the actual world. So everything starts at concepting. This is where we get a permission from you guys. I'm going to be giving it to Tony. I'm going to be giving it to you guys, and then you're going to be approving it, and we're at the mercy of you guys. So as soon as it comes out of our oven, it comes to you guys for approval, right? So I'm hoping you love it and it goes right through, but we'll tweak as we hear feedback. But today I did I got into it to where we have first aerial view of the battleground. Okay, I don't have an official name for it yet for the actual world. And again, I don't know how much you guys are doing with community feedback. If you're having people give their feedback and maybe winning the chance to name it, I don't know how you're going to do it because sometimes Kickstarter lets you name things in a game, and we'll do what you guys would like to do. But we've done that before where people kind of get involved in maybe a little mini contest to name the actual first environment. But
I honestly I didn't even think of that. That's not
yeah,
a
I
bad
mean,
idea. We
yeah,
might hold a
it's
contest. Maybe we will.
well, the cool thing is, we do this a lot, but prior to working with you guys, we got into Kickstarter campaigns. So if you're a backer or whatever you might have put into the project, hey, Bill gets to name, Bill won the thing and he gets to name, this is called underground, whatever. Like you can name that environment. His name is in the credits and however you want to do that, right? So I can come up with a placeholder name that's kind of cool, unless you guys might want to change it to really get that community feel. But right now it's kind of just like underground world. That's kind of like what we're tagging it. So while we build, internally, so we have an aerial view of what it'll be. We're going to be designing choke points. We're going to be designing places where you're going to run, especially with run and gun. How you're going to go through this is where the first contest is going to go through the same place. Peak points, places to refill your weapons, respawn points, so you're not right next to each other, all that stuff, right? So we're going to come up with the first iteration of how this would play out if you're going to be playing PvP. We made 4 places, 4 zones. So you see the aerial as a whole, and then the 4 zones are going to be the main gate, which is kind of like the entrance point to this Mad Max world, right? So these are all spawn points as well, but they're also target zones. So you're going to be, when you get into run and gun and certain things like that, is you kind of hustle to the next area. You dominate that area, and then you hustle to the next area before time runs out. Things like that. So we have the main gate, and then we have the boiler room, which is kind of like steam and piping, and you see like pressure gauges kind of going nuts. And it's like the boiler room. If you've ever seen kind of a boiler room in kind of any fantasy world, it's kind of a cool little place of an underground zone. We have the forge, which the forge will be kind of that feeling of where hot metal is kind of burned. Kind of those big boiler pots that kind of tip over and kind of leak that lava looking hot metal. So that's another area there. And then we have the trash compacting disposal area where we're going to have. So that's kind of like a cool way of also being in the environment and maybe even dying in the environment. So we like interactive environments. We wanted to play with that idea as well, to where it can actually kill you if you're doing the wrong thing in the environment. So this trash compactor actually has like, you have to kind of pass through it, or you can get smushed through it while you're in combat, which I thought that was kind of a nice touch. But maybe the community will obviously sound off on that if it gets too annoying. But I've always liked the fact that, hey, you're in the real world, if you were fighting in this, you could still be hurt by it. So so we got main gate, boiler room, forge, and trash compacting, and that's going to be what we're going to deliver next in this in a few days. So in a few days, you're going to see that aerial and then the 4-zone concepts, which will be just static, hand-drawn graphics. And so we're going to dump it out to the community, give it to you guys to give feedback while we're working on other things like 3D models and stuff like that. But again, that's where we are now, and I hope you guys kind of think those are cool, zones. What do you guys feeling?
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah, no
That sounds
problem.
awesome. That sounds awesome to me. I mean,
Yeah,
I like that. I think that fits the exact feel that Tony is looking for.
yeah,
So I know. So just for an update for you guys, Tony actually flew out to meet Darren in person at his game studio, and I think they had a nice lunch together to kind of go over things, and
we
Tony
did.
could
Yeah,
share his vision with Darren. So this isn't just some like over the internet thing with random people and stuff. Like Darren and Tony have met in person, and everything's been discussed, and very concrete contracts, professional contracts have been signed.
yeah.
I
So
love
I was
I
gonna.
love what I'm hearing, Darren. I mean, this is awesome. I didn't expect you to have this much done already because it's only been a couple days.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you know Tony, it's yeah, no messing around.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
yeah, but basically, yeah, he flew down. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, he flew, right? I saw his car, but I think he rented when he got here. But
No, he flew. He flew.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we met up. He goes, you know what? I'm gonna hold you accountable for everything. Your feet are to the fire. You're gonna build this for me. And we sat there, and we were about 2 to 3 hours of mapping out everything and going through things, and him telling me stories. And I mean, what I like to do when I build a game, um, when I build a game, I want to know everything about it. I want to immerse myself in it, because this is going to be not only just a few months for the first build, but whenever we get going and get some inertia, we're going to have maybe even a year build on this. And I need to know the lore and where he came from and his background. And this is what you guys want, right? I mean, no one wants a game where you just throw assets together from the Unreal store. You got some kind of basic models, you got some basic sounds that are on a lot of people make the mistake of making like marketplace games where it's just like the stuff on the marketplace, you pay $50 for it, and you kind of mash it all together, and you hurry up and grab a bunch of money, and you're out. And that's what they do a lot on Steam. And if you've ever seen that, guys, if like you get excited about a title, they push it hard, they get their Twitch streamers involved, and then it fizzles and development stops. And so that's not what we want to do here. Like, and Tony made that very obvious as well, and he's like, this is something that I want for years and years and years. I want it to be a title that's he's got a big brand behind it. Um, yeah, we went through everything individual, and he told me about another exciting thing is bringing on like weapon sponsors, tactical sponsors that he knows. When not only are you looking at a 9mm, you're looking at a 9mm by so and so company. That you see their branding. People that are big fans of the brand. Desert Eagles. What's the brand of that? So we went through all that, and so yeah, it's definitely not a thing that we're on WhatsApp about. It's we've met, and we're into it. So we had a good time when he came.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that overview, Darren.
Mhm.
Really sounds amazing. Why don't we bring up Josh? Can we bring up a couple people for questions for Darren? Maybe we'll do like let's do like 5 or 10 minutes of questions, and then we'll switch back over to the token.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like right now we have King and Ivan. We'll bring him on up here.
By the way, big thank you to Josh for running this. I know for anyone that doesn't know, Josh just had his second child. So
Congrats.
it's been crazy. I believe in the and I'm gonna butcher your last name in the La Flame house.
It has been crazy. You are correct.
Mm.
I just hopped off another AMA right before this, and uh, yeah, it never stops over here. But that's all right. Kingen, I don't know if you can see that I invited you to speak, but you raised your hand, so I thought you wanted to talk. If you do, go ahead and raise your hand. If anyone else wants to chat, come on up and ask questions for Darren and about the game. Now's your chance to do so. I know we've had a lot of people waiting a long time. I can't believe that nobody has questions. I know, Julian, that you were looking at the AMA questions as well. That's probably more all about the token. So maybe some
It's
people weren't
mostly about the
prepared.
token, yeah.
We
Yeah,
got
it's mostly about the token.
Kitty Wampus has raised his hand, so come on up.
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Wampus.
Hey, thanks for having me. Darren, I guess a question I had for you. You mentioned Call of Duty, big Call of Duty fan. I loved the most recent Modern Warfare that came out, and when I saw Tony was involved in this project and he was a character on there, I was really excited. But
Right.
that game is just notorious for hackers and cheaters. Is that
Yeah.
something that you're working to definitely prevent and like ruining the game, or what I mean? 'Cause that's something I
Yeah.
definitely don't want. I love the game, and I literally cannot play it anymore because of the cheaters. So
Yeah. So
that's like
this
my
is
only
always
question.
it's a great question, man. And to be honest, $1 billion companies still have problems with cheaters, and it's just what you have to do is you have to stay vigilant on it, right? So we're going to be using Easy Anti-Cheat to start. If you guys are familiar with the EAC company, I mean Easy EAC edition, um, it helps a ton. 99.9% from my experience have been filtered through, but you're gonna get somebody who can cheat and exploit the system. It's what they love to do, and they love to mess with people. I don't understand it in gaming because if you're part of gaming, I assume you want to challenge instead of just like being rewarded everything and just being like, and especially with NFTs and when there's money exchange, it's a little more complicated, right? Because it's
Yeah,
not
like
just
that. I didn't want to
yeah.
interrupt you, but that,
No,
like
no,
I
it's
just
okay.
now that just dawned on me is, what it seems like there's going to be much more incentive now to cheat if there's money involved. So how are
Right.
we going to go about that?
Yeah, so we have our server systems with security protocols on them. We have easy anti-cheat. We're going to be looking into other things that we can lock down because the space is a little new for this. So we're going to see who's also jumping in to protect some of these titles. Those are the two that we know of, from AWS protection to easy anti-cheat to start. But again, I've seen companies that, I mean, look at Call of Duty, right? How big it is, how much money's behind it. People still get through. What you do is you try your best to have community feedback. You take notes. You see who's coming in. You ban accounts, and you keep cleaning. You kind of it's almost like a never-ending cycle, and it's hard to say can you stop every single cheater from ever coming in ever, right? So what we have to do is stay vigilant, make sure our community is protected, and follow and bring in the third parties that have security protocols for us, and we'll be members of those systems. We'll be watching as well as a team, and we're going to be watching in real time, especially when it gets pushed out for the first version. We're going to be watching and seeing really tight. Like how are the floodgates coming in? Are there just a ton of people coming in here that are making the experience horrible, or are we okay, right? But we are starting off with Fort Knox to give you that feeling, and then also I believe we have some stuff in place. If you guys want to correct me if I'm wrong, but I know we have a little bit of kind of what hotels have with kind of comping things that might maybe go wrong here and there. So I don't want to speak out of turn on that, but we're going to be there.
I think
I'm not
just
sure.
to jump in on that, I think
Yeah, tell me.
that's a little bit of an in-depth down the line question.
Okay.
I appreciate Darren, that's huge. I didn't even know about some of that stuff, but that's great. I think we have to explore that down the line. It's probably going to happen, and when it does happen, we will address it accordingly. But that's definitely something that's more of a when we get to the full game, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
I don't think in the short term over the next 3 or 4 months it's going to be a big issue, especially in this training mode because it's not going to so much be like player versus player where you're going to be playing at the same exact time. It's going to be just knocking up a high score. I don't know if people are going to go, to the draft. They're going to like go to those kind of drastic measures to cheat with just getting a high score.
Yeah, I
or
mean, we
something.
have, just to let you know, we have triggers though, that when we see someone that's fishy, we can jump on it. So it's not like you get in, you play, you lose thousands of dollars, and like, oh, whoops. It's like we know when something's on odd IP, if it's kind of weird, if there's bot related things, but the way we're building it is pretty solid. I mean, these guys have to be like NASA engineers to get their foot in this door, and I don't think it's going to happen. So, but again, like I said, when you talk about how our size versus even Call of Duty size, someone, Call of Duty is multi millions of dollars. There's still a little bit of guys that sneak through. So we just have to take care of them, clean them up, make sure it doesn't happen again, and keep patching things and make sure our base is still happy. Obviously, I guess Kitty, right? Kitty Wampus did the feedback.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's up to you as well, right? So if you say, dude, like this guy's doing this, he's like porting all over the place, or he's flying around, whatever the cheat may be, the sooner you get that feedback in, the sooner we can shut it down and fix it. So, but we're
I
going to
think
be there
I
with you
think
guys.
we'll probably have some kind of reporting system we'll set up in the
Oh
future.
yeah, that's
Obviously.
what.
But again,
Answer,
that's like way
yeah.
down the line. I feel like that's something like a year from now.
They're not going to really, from my experience on this build on a version 1 like this, you're not going to really it's going to cost them more to make something to cheat in this more than what they're profiting from. So they're not going to screw with the version 1 here. But when we talk about, so you're going to have a good time with the first version. So when we get into the bigger build, the larger build of all the lore, all the battlegrounds, and then it becomes that franchisey game, then you're going to see people going, oh, okay, let me have some fun messing with people, which unfortunately people do in gaming. And then that's when probably you'll see that, but you're not going to see it in version 1. So I hope that was a good answer for you.
Well, that's a great
Awesome.
answer. I appreciate you taking the time to explain
Yeah.
it. I'll let somebody else ask one now since
Sure.
you might be running out of time here shortly.
No, I'm
Thank you.
with you guys. I'm staying. This is fun.
All right, while we bring someone else up here, I just want to say that I am fully prepared to help us solve the cheaters problem because I'm a big gamer myself. I hate cheaters. Obviously everyone's biggest concern is the play to earn side of the game, and obviously there will be at some point someone trying to exploit that. So I have all kinds of things that I'm ready to bring to the table that will help. Things that would, from a dev standpoint, be easy to implement, so Darren isn't pulling his hair out as I try to ask him to do impossible things. Um, it'll be a good time. I'm excited when we get to that point because I don't think it's going to be too easy on anyone. Let's bring up DM Dave. Dave, you can come on up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Very exciting stuff. I'm excited for the project. Quick question about the game. Can you talk about how the free-to-play version versus the version that will be able to be played by NFT holders will work? Is there going to be any kind of crossover, or is it even too early to answer that kind of question?
It's way too early for that kind of question. Way too early.
All
Appreciate
right,
it,
no
but
worries.
yeah, I would say way too early for that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, next person. Let's get the next guy up here.
Thanks,
Or
Dave.
actually, I think it's Country Girl.
Yeah,
is
we'll
the next
bring
one, I think.
Country
Hey.
Girl NFT on up.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, country girl.
Hey, good to see you, Darren. I have
Hey.
a question for y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
I would love to know about what kind of characters you guys are thinking on bringing in the game, and will we see any girl characters in the fight?
Who wants to take that one?
I guess I can kind of answer it. I mean,
Okay.
so are you talking about are you talking, Country Girl? Are you talking about this initial training build, or are you talking about the full game? Because keep in mind
Or, I
that
mean,
we're
you could say
making
both.
this
Like,
just
you could say
okay.
both.
So I'll address both. Regarding the training build, my understanding was, Darren, like you said, we were gonna have two characters, and I thought we
Right.
were gonna have like the Tony character, and then we were gonna have a female character.
We are, yeah. We are. We're doing a male and a female. We want to have everyone kind of experience both sides, and show the badassery of girl gamers and girl combat individuals. So I thought that was a good. I spoke to Tony about it as well, and he agreed. Just covering both sides of that, and yeah. So that's kind of where we're starting. But what are we looking at for the roster on the big one? Do you guys want to let her know that, or?
Yeah, so regarding the full game, at least the vision that we talked about with Tony and what we've told the community in the past is that, the NFT that you bought and own is going to be translated into 3D, and you're going to be able to use it and play with it in the
Yeah.
full game. That's the plan. Plus, possible demigods in the future, which everyone here kind of knows about the demigods and the plan with demigods.
Right.
Demigods will come a little bit later because it's quite an ambitious thing to create essentially custom rigged characters for potentially there could be up to 500 of those. So that's going to be a lot of work, as Darren
Right.
knows, to make each of those, and quite expensive. So we're probably going to prioritize the normal characters first, and you'll be able to use your standard character. Well, most of you have like legendaries or whatever. Don't think I'm just talking about the standard, because I know we have standard. You'll be able to use those first, and then we'll have the demigods come in later. But again, this is something that's going to come way later down the line. It's not what we're talking about now for this initial training build.
Sure. No, I love that. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I think I have all the faith in the world in Darren coming up with a really badass chick. So I look forward to it.
So wait, really quick, Country Girl, is there something you might want to see in one of the girls that maybe we could keep an eye on when we're building?
Like what kind of super
I don't know, like
something
gear.
awesome about her?
I don't know, like some gear, maybe some weapons, maybe some there's different moves that certain girls have in certain games, and I didn't know if you were kind of digging that.
If you want to do weapons, but since you're doing play to earn and you're thinking, brand partnerships, and you were talking about this special guns, I mean, hit me with an awesome like Sig Sauer or something cool that I can, translate to real life would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Noted. All right. What do you think? What do you guys think? You think that's a good idea?
Sure. My only suggestion, my suggestion would be that we at least try to model the girl after a NFT character that we have. So if you look at the character art for all of our NFT girls, you have a lot to choose from. You just have to go to OpenSea and you can sort by female.
Yeah. Do we have a link that she can grab on that? Is that readily available for her to check out?
Just go to OpenSea and just type in
OpenSea.
We actually have a link in the official links channel of the Discord towards the top. So click that, it'll take you to our collection.
There we go, Country Girl. Collections on OpenSea.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the feedback. Appreciate it.
All right, so let's see who we got next. Thank you, Country Girl. It doesn't really tell me who's in order, so I apologize if you feel like you're being skipped. We will try to get to all of you. Let's bring up Sentry Defiant. Come on up to the stage.
What a nice setting we have.
Welcome, Sentry.
We have our bosses.
Good evening.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Just seeing if someone heard me.
Good evening.
Yeah.
All right. What's your question?
It's a little bit. I know it's ahead of the time, and I know you guys are doing the demigods and stuff like that, and it's a future thing. And I guess my question was, everybody kind of knows I'm a wannabe artist, and I have a fairly simple design. I was just wondering, is it even possible that the entire character could be rigged off of maybe one of my simple drawings of a female?
I'm sorry. Are you aiming that towards me, or who wants to take that?
That's to you.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about characters.
Yeah. So basically, we can model and rig anything that comes from artwork. So basically, the process is when we start a model, and we start a character design, we do concepting, right? We do every angle, front, side, back, every way we can think of it. So as long as my bosses, tell us, where what they need will be aimed in that direction, right? So, you know, that's all it takes. So if I have artwork to follow, we can build a model after it. We can do texturing, we can do clothing, we can do skins and guns, and rig it to work. So absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Sure.
All right,
I'm done.
thank you, Sentry. I'll move you
Thank
back
you.
down to the audience. You're welcome. Sorry to cut you off there. Let's bring up Kyle DeCoster. Go ahead and come on up. Welcome, Kyle.
Hi guys. Uh,
Hello, Kyle. Welcome.
so I don't know if this is too early to ask, but I know that Tony mentioned something about the companions. I was wondering if there'd been any further discussion on maybe what they would be able to offer in game, if they were going to have some form of abilities, and kind of if we could brush up on what they might be, or if if that's even something that can be discussed yet.
Apologize. I had a little delay in my signal there. Can you ask that again? I apologize.
Yeah. So I know Tony was, with these companions that we've got. Has Tony discussed with you kind of what they will be able to do, or
Right.
kind of what they'll be doing in game, if they'll offer any kind of, special abilities? Is that something that's been discussed that we can
Yes.
talk about?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to give you kind of the basic breakdown of what I got. I don't think it's like spoiling anything. So basically the plan is, I'm not sure if you guys were into 80s gaming, but Shadow Dancer and things like that back in the arcade days. I'm not sure how, if you guys are in your 40s or whatever like me, but the way Shadow Dancer worked and some other games worked was you can have them assist you in battle if you want, to kind of prevent being killed, obviously. So we played with the idea, because once we start modeling the animals, that kind of talk will happen about gameplay. But basically, obviously, having like a hawk on your shoulder to do something, it's not just cosmetic. You want it to do something and maybe interact with the game. So right now, the plans are coming up of assisting in battle to a certain extent, not necessarily killing the character, but assisting you to kind of get that upper hand. You know what I mean? Maybe take someone by surprise and maybe keep them busy, and you might get a few shots off, stuff like that. So it
Awesome.
might, yeah. I feel like,
Can you
yeah.
elaborate on, like, maybe say what the eagle might be able to do, what the monkey might be able to do? Have they all got their own abilities? Will they all have their own little thing, or can you discuss about what ideas have been put forward for those kind of companions? Or
Yeah, so this is way off, obviously, right? A little bit off from the original test, right? So what I would love to do, I have 100 ideas, but I got to follow their structure, obviously. But I mean, we haven't gotten into the nitty gritty, just to give you that full disclosure. So we don't have like official named talents or traits or skill trees or anything like that. So that's not happening just yet. But I'm fully ready to make the hawk or the dog like badass in a certain way. But the problem is, you don't want to go too far to where it's not fun to play against these things, right? Like it's a one button kill everybody thing. You don't want that. So it's a lot of testing to figure out, how does the hawk do something that can help the player of the hawk, but it doesn't make that hawk like ridiculously impossible to beat, or like the most advantage ever. And then you get into the pay to win kind of argument that people always talk about. So our goal is, yes, to get to your question is, yes, they're going to be helping and it's going to be badass. We don't know the traits yet or anything like that. We have to figure out what the balance will be, and we're probably going to make them so overpowered and weird at the beginning to know how to do this the right way. So we're going to have, we're going to sit there around the table and make the wolf awesome, and every little animal awesome, and then we're going to play against it. And they might release it to community. It's kind of up to them how they release it to the community. We'll keep building, but
so it could be a case
yeah.
of something like how when you picked your NFT, you picked whether they had agility, they were
Right.
strength
Yeah,
or power.
I know
So
those will
it
be
would
there.
be so it would be something like maybe the eagle gets sight. You're flying around. It's flying around. It gives you
Absolutely.
kind of a UAV, a temporary UAV, or something like that, like similar to Call of Duty, where you can see someone on a mini map or something like that.
Yeah. Again, there are attributes. I know they're coming. To what extent is when I get with the guys and go, what do you want us to make? Because I mean, we're at their disposal. We'll make whatever they want. We'll make an incredibly overpowered hawk if they want, but I don't recommend that, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I have
so
an
it,
eagle.
yeah, I've got an eagle, everyone dies. Come on back, so that's what you play around with. That is like it's balance, right? So if you guys, obviously you're gamers, so balance takes a little while, and some people are going to be a little bit upset, but know that we're going to make it to where it's going to be fun to play. It will.
Yeah, I
Cool.
appreciate that answer, Darren.
Yeah.
So Kyle, just to clarify really quick, so that's another one of those like future game questions. I'm going to clarify really quick. The animals are what I would consider an accessory part of the game. It's not the main part of the game. It's going to be an important part later, but it's not something we're focusing on in the short term. We're trying to focus on the key parts of the game in the short term, creating this training mode, figuring out the key parts of the gameplay before we add on additional things. Like that would be, there are plans for it, but it is essentially a add-on. And the key focus right now is to make the game look as good as it can, as good as it can look, and also be as fun as possible. And then once we get that first part figured out, then we'll start adding. That's when the animals come in and that kind of stuff later on.
Cool.
All
Thank you
right,
very much, guys.
Josh, let's pull up. Thank you so much, Josh. Let's pull up the next person.
All right, we got Jimmel. Come on up, Jimmel.
You guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Welcome.
So, sorry if you hear my dogs in the background. Anyway, so I was wondering if you guys had any intentions on making different kinds of gameplay. You know how, like, say in Call of Duty, you have like team deathmatch. But then you have an option to play different types, like a capture the flag, or, is there any aspirations of creating different gameplays that we can play, or like, creating clans and stuff where people can play as a team against other teams?
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I can kind of answer that question, Darren.
Yeah, maybe at the beginning of these, if they want to channel them towards a certain person. Sorry, I didn't know if they
yeah,
wanted
I'm
to
sorry
ask.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Julian, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can answer it. So we do have plans to do all that. Again, we're going to go in stages though, because this is a community-funded project. The thing is, when you have a project funded by a lot of people want to see the product as soon as possible. So rather than most big game companies that are funded by investors and like key investors and executives, they usually create the whole game and then release it as a package. What we're kind of doing is we're doing it in stages, so that you guys can see each stage and then continue to have faith in the project and be like, okay, this is awesome. Okay, I'm gonna stick with it. Okay, I'm gonna fund more. That's kind of what we're doing. So like we're doing this training mode first, but then after we finish the training mode, the next thing we're probably gonna look to do is do like a team deathmatch or a battle royale mode, one of those two. And then after we are sure that that is perfect, then we'll add on the next mode, which might be a capture the flag of some kind or some other mode. And we'll just continue to add as we grow the game and the experience.
If I could jump in for 1 second too.
Sure.
So I have some crazy ideas I'm going to be throwing at the team as well. They don't know it yet, so I'm going to sneak it in on them later. But a lot of play games have capture the flag. They have these basic modes, domination, those things, right? And those are great. There's just some core, value to. I love capture the flag. So things like that, I don't want to go away. It's kind of like a menu, right? At a restaurant, there's some great sandwiches you just don't take off the menu, right? So, but also you want to mix up the food a little bit. You want to make it a little different. And I'm gonna come in with some ideas that I did on some previous builds before I was hired about how to get teamwork together, how to get objective-based gaming together. But it's like something different, like maybe you have to go get something and maybe a disarming. I know this disarming is a different thing, but I'm just trying to come up with different ways to still put teamwork together and still make it fun to get together. That it's not just a cut and dry capture the flag team deathmatch every single time. So the big hitters will be there, but I'm going to come to the table soon when we start expanding, and we're going to really open up the gates of how do we get people together in a tactical way. They're working together as a team. They got to pull their weight and then ultimately achieve the coolest objective to win the round. So we're gonna come to the table with a little bit of a science, crazy mad scientist thing to some of the new modes there.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a really good idea instead of putting, this one and then perfecting it and then putting another one. Because if you put all of them at one time, then it kind of gives us nothing to look forward to.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, you got to release the song slowly on your album, right?
exactly.
So,
And you got to
yeah.
perfect each one, because if you have them all out there and then you have bugs in all of them, then it takes twice as long or 4 times as long to get everything working right. 'Cause
Right.
you got to
Yeah.
do all of them.
Exactly. And we're not to the scale of the Call of Duty teams. They have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of developers. So we want to do this right to where we're not coming out like they are. They, even with their massive amount of developing team, there's still issues, and there you go. But we're putting our toes in the water. We're starting first. We're perfecting the first part, and then you love it. We're gonna perfect the next part. You love it, and then rinse and repeat.
That sounds great. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys. Appreciate
Sure.
it.
Okay, let's rinse it off.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All
All right.
right,
Who do we
Jimbo.
got next?
We got that's what Chase said.
It looks like, yep, that's what you say is coming. That's what you. I can't even pronounce that name. What is that name? When you come up here, you're gonna have to tell us how to say your name.
That's what Chase said.
That's what Chase said. Okay.
There you go.
Read it.
That's close. That's what Shay said.
Oh, it's like that's what she said, but it's Shay.
Exactly.
Hey, that's what Shay said. Got it. Okay.
Is your name Shay?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead. What's your question, Shay?
Hey, I'm like that's me. Hi guys.
Hello.
I was wondering about the vault. Like, do you need a vault to purchase the tokens? Like, I know I have it with my Genesis, but I don't have it for, like, some people don't have the Genesis.
Okay, so this is a
So,
question for me. That's a great question. Okay, so to participate in the token IDO, IGO, whatever you want to call it, you are going to need, we're only going to look at the NFTs that you have. We're not, well, I understand that the vaults are NFTs, the cargo boxes, supply boxes, whatever you want to call them. They have different names. Those are only for when we bring the staking in. You're going to need those if you want to stake. Okay, so you can't stake and earn tokens unless you have both a character NFT and a supply box of some type. And the level of supply box you have will determine how much you will earn from staking. That plus the rarity level of your character NFT. But for the initial access to participate in the token launch, you are going to just need your character. At this time, you do not have to have a supply box. We haven't set it in stone yet, but we may give some benefit where you might be able to get a couple extra tokens for the supply box, but at this time it's only characters.
fantastic. You answered all my follow-up questions.
Oh, okay, great.
Nice.
Besides one, do you know if the legendaries are going to get a supply box also, or is it just a Genesis?
The legendaries will be able to purchase a supply box. We're gonna
Okay.
run a supply box sale about probably 3 days into the token launch, 3 or 4 days after token launch. We're gonna run a supply box sale, and you're gonna be able to mint a supply box as many as you. I don't know. We'll probably have a cap, but it's going to be a random supply box, and you're not gonna know which one you're gonna get. There's gonna be 3 levels, which is basically gonna be standard, premium, and legendary, the same as the characters, and they will have different multipliers. And you're going to be able to combine them with your NFT to earn a certain yield, essentially. So, that's kind of the plan with the supply boxes for the Freedom Fighter collection. While the Genesis got them all for free, as we promised since the beginning. Anything with a Genesis, you're going to essentially almost anything that we come out with will be essentially, a free mint.
Well, I'm so glad I got my Genesis then.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm super excited. That's all.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, who do we got next?
Thanks,
Josh.
Shay.
Top nice.
Hello, guys.
With an Azuki, I think.
Warning,
That's
it's
an
like
Azuki.
fucking Gangnam Style in the background.
So the weapons are gonna be NFTs, but say we only have one weapon, are we only able to use that one weapon NFT to play the game?
That is definitely a future question. I honestly, it's a great question, but I don't feel comfortable answering it right now.
I understand.
Do you have any other questions? Because I feel like that's not a good enough answer. Do you have any more questions that I could maybe answer?
I did have a question in the AMA. Let me go find it real quick.
Let me see. I have all of those.
Yeah, I was towards the
Let me
top.
go. You were towards the top. Toss Hunter. Let's see. While you're up here, and I can cross you off the list. Toss Hunter, here we go. You said, will there be utility as soon as the token is available? What steps are you taking to ensure once token is released that it doesn't lose value? Looking at Bice, once holding $80 to $100+ to today where you can buy it for 11. Excellent question. So actually, if you don't know about me, Toss Hunter, I've been in the finance / trading world for about probably 8 years now. I run a company called The Rational Investor, where we actually teach people how to trade stocks and crypto. And I've been, I really pay close attention to
Hang
this
him
kind of
down, but
stuff.
he didn't eat.
And I knew right away, like, everybody was
Food
talking
on the
about Bytes.
floor.
I would never buy Bytes because of their tokenomics, and it just wasn't sustainable. And I knew it was going to crash at some point. Now, Bytes at its current price is maybe a decent buy, especially since it looks like we're shifting to a slightly bullish market now that the Fed has said that they're going to keep the interest rate at 0.25, which is, the market already knew that was going to happen. That was already priced in. What the market was waiting for was to see if they were going to raise it more than that, if maybe it was going to be 0.5 or something like that. Then the market would have dumped. But because it was what the market expected, the market rallied. So anyone that was like, why did the market rally today? That's why. But to answer exactly your question, the plan for the token is, and this is subject to, I'm going to
He's gonna
explain
go in
this
the
to the
kitchen
community,
now.
and we might even take a vote. And if you guys vote against it, maybe we'll do something different. But I'm doing this. We're doing it this way to try to maintain the token value, and figure out ways such that the token will not lose value, but at the same time, people will still be able to stake and earn. It's a tough balance. It's kind of the same as like balancing, fair fighting in a game with different character classes. It's very similar. So the plan is that we will have a token. So anybody that buys in the initial pre-sale for the token, we're gonna have a lockup for 3 months. So you're not gonna be able to sell your tokens for 3 months, and then we're gonna allow it to linearly vest over 6 months. So over that 6-month period, every day a certain amount is going to be released to you, and you're going to be able to sell it. And that's one way to keep, because to be fair, we know that we have some whales in this community, and thank you, whales. We appreciate you. We don't want you to be able to dump on day one and ruin the token launch. And I think you agree that that's what's best for the token in the long run. As far as planned utility for the token, we're thinking we're going to allow you to stake. You're gonna be able to not only stake your NFTs, but we're also going to allow you to stake your tokens. The plan is to allow you to not only pool and stake, but also stake the tokens by themselves. Again, not set in stone, but that's what we're looking at. If there's any massive community backlash to any of these plans, we are open to changing them. And I want to emphasize that this is a Web 3.0 community project. Other uses for the token, we may potentially have a DAO where people will be able to vote based on their amount of token holdings on game development direction, especially when we get into like the nitty gritty, like, should we allow Hawks to do this or that? We'll allow the community to vote on that based on your token holdings. You're going to be able to use the tokens to modify your warrior in the builder, and we'll probably burn those tokens. Modifying your warrior means like re-rolling your warrior. Say you have like a standard or a premium warrior that you want to take the chance and re-roll them to maybe get a higher rarity, or maybe one with a pet. I mean, I think everyone knows that if you have a pet, it's more rare and more valuable than if your warrior doesn't have a pet. I mean, if you just look at OpenSea, you can tell. Everyone knows that. You're gonna have to have some tokens to create your demigod. Yes, you have to have a male and female legendary, but we are also going to require that you have some tokens to create that demigod, and it will also increase your chance of having a demigod with essentially a higher rank. We are going to have a little bit of ranking for the demigods. Everybody's going to be there's going to be a little bit of differences. You're also going to need the token to pay for the supply boxes that I talked about. So that's another way that we're gonna kind of burn tokens. We're gonna give the option, either you can buy the supply boxes with ETH, or you can buy it with our token. So those are a couple ways that we're looking at to preserve the value of the token, on top of what I went into detail with our tokenomics, where we're going to have the transaction fee, and a percentage of that transaction fee could be used to essentially buy back our token.
What about potentially changing the color of our outfits? Like, a lot of mine are mismatched color-wise.
Yeah, so that's something that we are considering in the builder, allowing. The only issue with that is I'm concerned that we are going to really mess with and ruin rarity of NFTs that already, character NFTs that already exist.
Or should
Where
we
people
care
are,
about rarity of outfits and versus rarity of just the
well, people are going to want
level?
their characters to look a certain way, right? So, that has value. And if somebody has a character that already has a uniform costume or whatever, however you want to call it, uniform armor that you like the way it looks, you're going to be willing to pay for that character. While if you can just go to our builder and put tokens in to make it yourself for a much cheaper price, of course you're going to do that. And then that's going to hurt the value of the actual character NFTs that do have the uniform armor already. So it's a balancing act,
Maybe
and
a
it's something.
randomized, or it's kind of like
Yeah.
you're
So
taking a risk.
something randomized is something that I'm exploring, and I think would be a great idea. I like the idea of randomization. I think that's okay. That's what I said with like re-rolling. You can pay to re-roll, but I don't know about being able to pick specific things. We might do it where you can change certain pieces, but other pieces will always be random. Like I'm thinking that you're never going to be able to pick a pet. Like that's not going to ever be guaranteed.
That makes sense.
So maybe you can re-roll and you can pick your armor to make it sure it matches, but you're not going to. But if you have a pet, maybe you might lose that pet. So then you have to kind of think about things. I don't want to make it too simple.
Yep.
It has to. There always has to be the way to balance something
Oh.
properly is you always have to have a proper level of risk and reward.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Cool picture, by the way. Let's go. Who's next? King Crypto. Woohoo. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Ken.
Awesome. So, 0 for 3 on Genesis, bought a 5-pack, 0 for 4 on Animal. But I would totally assume that the Eagle would give an overhead view, and I believe that the monkey should loot for you. But that has nothing to do with my question. You don't know if the monkey just jumped off your shoulder and looted for you. I love it.
Okay,
but-
so you can unleash the monkey to steal tokens from somebody else that you attack, maybe. Something like that. You get 2 tokens worth 20 cents.
For the pile of loot, you just keep on running, the monkey will go get it for you. But my real question, and I threw it in the AMA talk, and I know there's talk about us being able to rent our warriors. Would it be valuable for a guild or a scholarship potential? Is there anything you're building into the code that would separate the earnings?
Okay, so I'm going to cut you off. Great question. Great question. The answer to that is I do not have an answer. That is like way down the line. That's definitely like a full game accessory thing that we will be working to incorporate. We definitely want to have a type of guild scholarship thing. I think that's huge. I always think it's important to have something like that. But I think it's more important that we have an amazing looking game with amazing gameplay and proper tokenomics and play to earn tokenomics first. So
I agree.
Think of it as, kind of building a house. And we want to make sure the house is a very strong house first before we start adding pretty lights to the outside of the house.
I agree. I mean, like myself, there's a lot of 40 pluses in here that played games their entire life, but have life and family that would love to rent them out.
We're definitely going to allow renting out for sure. Yeah, big time.
On the flip side, there's a lot of FUD going on around the tokenomics of the play to earn games, and now it's earn to play or whatever it is. What are we looking at as far as the tokenomics? So it's not the Ponzi-nomics that the FUD in the community is talking about when it comes to all this gaming stuff. Do we have things built in? And believe me, again, 3 Genesis and a 5-pack, I'm all in. So I'm not being negative whatsoever.
No, I've seen you around. I appreciate the question. I kind of went over the utility. Did you hear what I went over earlier?
I'm sorry, I may
It was at the beginning. It was at the beginning, like the first
I may have
15
just
minutes.
missed it.
Okay, maybe you know what? Can you? Okay, well so really quick, we're gonna have the transaction fee, okay, and 2.5% of that is gonna be used for the community vault / staking rewards, which could be considered buyback for the token to help support the price. Oh, Josh, you're talking to the baby on the live show. Maybe
God
mute.
bless it.
I think that's a baby.
I don't know what that is, but
Uh-oh.
We'll pray for the baby.
Yeah, that's a hot comment. Okay.
Sorry, King Crypto, asking serious
No
questions
worries.
and getting baby talk. So one part is the transaction fee. The other part is, like I said, we're gonna have lockup for the tokens over 3 months at least, and then a 6-month linear vest. And then I went into detail and I outlined a couple utility uses for the token. As far as like the play to earn aspect, again, this is like way down the line, but one of the ideas I have is that you're not going to directly just be issued tokens. You and the people you're playing against are essentially going to be able to buy in to rounds where you'll use the token to pay to play in the game and to play in a match. And then the winning team will get the tokens from the other team that the other team put in. You guys matched a bet, and then whoever wins will get those tokens. And then the protocol will take a percentage, and that will be used to fund essentially the buyback of the tokens.
Like
So
does that kind of
make sense?
And I hope, yes, like a rake, and I hope that's a burn mechanism, because obviously the tokenomics these days.
Well, there's two different ways to do that, right? So you could burn them, or we could have some type of buyback mechanism where there's actually a fee taken, and then from that fee we could. Well, no, good point. I think it's better to do a burn, but like I said, we're in the early stages for that part because that will come later when the actual gameplay is going on, and that could be an additional smart contract that would be added in as part of the game.
With the IGO, are we going to be a 2-token environment?
We are looking at a single token for now.
Okay.
Maybe if the plan is for now 100% to be a singular token. I think 2 tokens gets confusing, and then everybody kind of knows like one token is the real value token, and the other token is like the shitty token that you're going to get issued in the game. And I don't really like that. I feel like that Ponzi has kind of been exposed for what it is.
Hence my questions. I mean that is absolute truth.
I am very well aware of that. So we are looking at doing a singular token just to keep it, from getting too complicated. And we're looking at ways to where we use the token in the game, but people have to essentially pay to play, and then you earn based on your reward. So you can't always just play for free. And the more you pay, the higher your chance of a higher reward. That's kind of what I'm looking at. But again, that's not something that has been decided concretely at this point. We're just looking at the token launch and the utility in the short term as far outside of gameplay, with an idea that in the future there will be things that we'll use the token for in the game, hence why we're reserving 35% for game issuance.
I like it.
Okay. I know it's not a 100% concrete answer, but we're not even close to that point yet with the game. So, we're leaving a couple things open because we have to see how the game develops and then decide which direction would be best for the game and the token. But trust me, I am always thinking about how we are going to maximize and maintain token value. Because if the token goes to value, then everything's dead. So I totally understand that.
Appreciate you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you.
All right, who's next? Josh, who do you want to bring up? Randy? Looks like he's at the top. Okay, Soldado with a monkey.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear
Hey,
you.
how's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, so I just got a quick question. I follow a couple of, I guess, Call of Duty characters, like on Twitter and Instagram. Well, one of them is Zara. Is it Zara? Oh, Mara, I'm sorry. Mara from Call of Duty, but she had tweeted a while back that I guess there was some talk between her and Tony, that her possibly being a Warrior Alliance NFT
Yeah,
character.
her and Tony are good friends. Yeah, they talk frequently.
So is there any chance, like, or do you guys know, like, when you guys gonna drop, like, I guess that
She
character? Or
she would
does it?
be a demigod character. She's gonna have a demigod.
Ah, sick.
Yeah.
Is there any other Call of Duty characters that are involved?
Not that I know of or that I can talk about. Maybe there is, but
Ah,
I can't say anything.
all right, I got you.
But
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Tony is a Call of Duty character, so Tony has a lot of connections.
Right.
So we might have, as the game develops and we get more eyes on this project, I'm sure there will be more people that will want to be involved.
Okay, got you. Awesome. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you too. All right, who's next? Randy.
I guess it's me. Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Hey guys. Julian, I've been listening to what you said about the tokenomics specifically, and I like the idea of the transaction fee to redistribute for better uses and also some sort of burn mechanism in there. What I heard you say earlier, though, it kind of concerned me that you put up to play initially, and in the short term that will work out very well because presumably the token will be fairly cheap to begin with. But eventually you will price new players out, where a team of 5 or however many are going against each other eventually don't want to put up the dollar or $2 a piece to actually start a round later in the life cycle of the game.
They can play for free.
Oh, is there some sort of mechanism in the free-to-play version?
Yeah, of course.
Or
Free to play, of course. Yep.
And go up in that? Okay, cool.
Definitely. We don't want to. The big thing is that we're not going to want to discourage anyone from playing, because the number one success. Trust me, I understand this. Maybe not as well as Darren does, but I do understand market forces with games. And the most important thing for a game is that you continually grow your player base. So trust me when I say that we're going to do our best to get this to the point where it's a free to play game, where people can play it, but they don't earn anything.
So that's specifically what the kind of game redistribution part of the fee is for, that 2 or 3% that you mentioned, is to go back to the free-to-play players to put back in the system so they can afford to play.
No. So they're not going to get anything, and they're not going to be charged anything. The point is for them to enjoy the game, so much so that they want to buy an NFT, and then they want to play as an NFT to earn, and to purchase the token, which would increase the value of our token and the value of the NFTs.
Sure. It's understandable. My initial question of why I keyed in was actually for the developer from Tipping Toast. Kind of the only comparison I've heard so far was to Call of Duty when I watched the the 2-day build, 45-second or minute and a half video that you guys released. What it immediately reminded me of was Rogue Company, but then we talked a lot about tactical gameplay and being strategic, which on the extreme end of that spectrum, if we're using comparisons, is something like Escape from Tarkov. Where I see this game landing is something like Payday or Rainbow Six, but that also, like Payday specifically, if you're doing a super rescue or something, it does have a most efficient path that people figure out eventually. And I wonder if you had a way to combat the repetitiveness, and then specifically, since Julian, you said you would pay to go in, the idea of that scenario is to give the defense an advantage, but if the attackers are very experienced in just like running low dollar games, they'll just steamroll whatever team they come up against, and you'll just lose over and over again. So again, yeah, the question I'm asking is if you have an idea to combat finding that efficient route and just doing that one thing over and over again, peak meta, I guess.
Sorry, I'm just trying to hone in on this. Are you saying how are we going to combat repetitiveness in the design of these style of games?
Yeah, exactly. So, going back to the examples and the comparisons, something like Payday, if you're,
Yeah.
trying to heist something or do a hostage rescue or whatever, there is a most efficient route that you can take that gives
hmm
you an advantage over the defense that is supposed to have the
Are
advantage.
you talking about more procedural generation to prevent people knowing where to go?
Yeah, not necessarily totally random, but something like, occasionally this route is blocked off, or something like there's a certain hurdle on these two routes that are really most efficient, or you can't even go there.
Yeah. Again, I'm all about fresh approaches to things. I don't want to make this game again. I've got to answer to those who are my bosses, but I will definitely keep on giving my feedback on previous experiences, and they're awesome about it too. I mean, they really let me run with my crazy ideas. But I hate repetitiveness. I hate the same modes. I hate people knowing where to go and just sit there and wait for you to kill you and things like that. I love procedural generation in certain places. Now, it's hard to do procedure generation when you're talking about a really detailed, high cost map, right? So if we make this gorgeous map, we can generate certain things to make the experience unique. We can change certain modular models, maybe locations of certain things, maybe spawn points and things like that. Moving buildings and stuff gets a little tricky. You don't really want to do that. But again, we're gonna try and make this as fresh and new as possible. And then we do want to listen to you guys. And I think some of the greatest, even though I have some cool ideas, and I've gotten some of the greatest ideas from my community on my other builds. They're like, hey, did you know? Because they're just eyes everywhere, So they're like, did you know that someone could just run over here and wait for you in a bush and just annihilate you right at the beginning of the game? And like, oh my god, I totally missed that, right? Because you're looking at everything, and sometimes it's easy to miss. So originality, fresh gameplay, changing, typical boring gameplay is what we're all about, and make it to where you want to play this game. This is not just something like an investment. It's like we want replayability and people wanting to get into this game and play it over and over again. So definitely to circle back around to you is we're all for fresh approaches, and we're gonna make things fun. That's the purpose. This is our passion.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for the answer.
Sure.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Excited about this. So real quickly, my question is, and it might be a little early as well, but now that the tokenomics are sort of in place, do you know how much yield will be, depending on standard premium or legendary warrior and those with or with pets? What the yield is going to be like, whether if it's going to be like $2 for the standards or $10 a day for legendaries or etc. Like I said, it might be early, but just wondering.
I think that's a question for me. Um, okay, there's a couple ways I can answer your question. I'm just thinking about how I want to do this. Okay, so look, I have some stuff figured out, like how this is going to work. However, I'm going to ask a question to you. So if a token is launched, right, and we launch it at a certain price, and then the market has to decide, what price it will become. Like if more people buy it, the token price will increase. If more people sell it, the token price will decrease. So you're asking me to say that if you have some certain supply box and certain NFT, you will get a certain amount of dollars per day. But to explain to you, the way it works is you actually don't get a dollar value. We're not issuing any kind of dollars to you. This is not a security. This is just a token, and a token is not US dollars. A token is a token. So when you say you put a standard box and a standard NFT together, you're going to get the lowest yield, and we'll say that's 2 tokens per day. Now, if the token is valued at $1 per token, then that would be $2. But that's only if you go and figure out a way to exchange it $2. We're not issuing you dollars in any way, shape, or form. We're issuing you a token, which, you know, I could say has essentially no real world value until someone assigns a value to it. Does that kind of make sense? So I can't give a dollar figure. That would be that's how I open the road to me getting in trouble with like the government and stuff, especially.
No worries. Got you.
Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Who are we gonna go with next? Shuta Hunid. Hopefully I
Hello,
pronounced that
can
right.
you guys hear me?
Hello. Welcome. Yes.
Oh,
Nice
uh,
monkey
so
NFT. Monkey lady.
thank you. Um, so I was listening to the past AMAs, and I know you guys spoke about potentially having the token on the Polygon network. So I was just wondering if you guys determined which network it'll be on. Would it be on the ETH or Polygon?
It's probably going to be on the Ethereum network. And if
Okay.
anybody's concerned about gas fees related to, you know, the token being used in the game and microtransactions and stuff like this, what we're thinking about doing is you will deposit your tokens to the game. Essentially, you can have your tokens on in your wallet, but say, you know, you want to use them to play the game, you would use one bulk transaction to deposit maybe 10,000, 20,000 tokens. And then they're in the game. And once they're in the game, they're on the game server. And in the game, on the game server, they're going to have no fees. That's kind of how we're looking at doing it. Now, you know, that is still up in the air. And so we have to, I'm going to discuss that further with our dev to make sure that that's 100% secure because then you're kind of moving tokens on and off the blockchain. And I'm not sure if we want to do that. So I have to talk to our dev about that. But as of right now, we're looking at it's going to be on the Ethereum blockchain.
Okay, makes sense.
Just
All
to
right.
keep everything consistent. It would be kind of weird, I feel like, to have NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain and then a token that's on a different chain.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Thank you, guys.
Sure. Thank you too.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hi.
How you doing, guys? Okay, I got a question. I don't know if you answered it already because I walked away from my phone. So I'm gonna need ET. I'm new to this NFT stuff. So excuse me if the question sounds a little ignorant as far as the terms. I'm gonna need the ETH to buy the tokens, correct?
Yes, you will need Ethereum to buy the token
Okay.
when we release it. And also, if you want to be involved in the pre-sale, which will give you an exclusive early access price, you will need to own NFTs from the collection.
Okay, I got a couple of NFTs. Now,
Okay.
once I have the tokens, I'm gonna use that to buy the supply boxes, and when the weapons come out, I could use my tokens to purchase the weapons as well.
That is the plan. That's what we're looking at doing.
Oh, that's great. Okay. All right, because I thought I was gonna have to choose, you know, if some
I think your mic cut out. Hello. Yeah, I can't hear you.
He might hit the mute button with his cheek. I've done that.
He's not muted. It would
Oh,
show
I guess not.
a mic
Yeah,
mute.
that's true.
All right. Why don't you figure out what's going on with your mic all day, and we'll bring you back on later. We gotta keep moving. Josh, can we bring up Chrono 1000? Let's switch him out. Thank you. Hello, Chrono. You're muted in case you're talking.
Yeah, I wasn't near my phone. I walked back away. I'm like, oh crap. Hey,
Hi. Great to have you.
yeah, thanks. I just had a few quick questions about pre-sale and public sale. That being when the date might be, if you haven't determined, and what the price point of those might be. First off.
So I'm not going to tell you the price point. We
Okay.
kind of have it determined, but I don't feel comfortable saying it at this time. We'll release that at a later date in a written article. Regarding the actual launch, so we are targeting the launch to be around the end of this month, possibly the beginning of next month. I'm not going to give a hard date because delays can happen. Different things can come up. People have other plans and different things that are happening, especially our developer. I know he's very busy and sought after by many projects that I'm having. Luckily, our developer is my personal friend. And let me tell you, if he was not our personal friend, we might run into issues because he is being poached and sought after by some of the top DeFi companies on a nonstop basis. But luckily, he is a very, very good friend of mine that I'm actually going to be traveling with in the near future. So, he's fully on board with Warrior Alliance and to help us out. So it is subject to his availability as well. But the target is the end of this month or the beginning of next month for token launch.
Yeah, that's cool. That gives us kind of an idea of when they have our ETH ready to go for this.
Yeah.
Two other quick questions. I was wondering if you had any exchanges for public offering after that, when it was going to be available to everybody, and also with the Genesis holders, there wasn't a percentage given on tokenomics for what the airdrop would be for that. I wasn't sure if that was figured in or if I missed that.
Yes. So there will be a small amount that will be given to Genesis holders as part of our promise to give everything to Genesis holders as free mints. So that final amount hasn't been decided yet. We want to find something that is a fair balance, such that they'll Genesis holders will be happy with it, but at the same time, we're not going to totally rub the project by giving way too much away for free.
Right.
So we're gonna find a balance for that. What was your other question? I'm sorry, you asked another question. Right
I
before that.
was wondering if you guys were looking at any exchanges to be able to.
Oh yes.
trade
Okay.
tokens.
So yeah. So obviously, when you first launch a token, you create a pool, which allows people to exchange it for ETH. In this case, it would be an ETH and ammo token pool that we would create primarily from the funds from the presale, which you need to exchange the token for the automated market maker, right? But, and you may not know this, to be listed on any kind of like centralized exchange, like obviously we can get on Uniswap for free. We just have to create the liquidity pool and we'll be on Uniswap.
I figured that would be a place to be found, but yeah, it was the other
Yeah,
central
yeah,
exchanges,
that's no. When you're talking about centralized exchanges, do you know how tokens get launched on centralized, like how they get listed on centralized exchanges?
Probably not enough details to say yes.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Why do you think one token gets listed on a centralized exchange and another one doesn't?
I would say trade volume.
You would think, but that's not the only thing. Try one more time.
Okay.
Come on, take a guess.
Not trade volume. Market cap?
Nope.
Man. Because you pay to have it listed?
Exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Everything's about money. Everything in this space is about money. Okay. Don't kid yourselves, guys. If you pay to get listed on an exchange, you can get listed. If I had $2 million, okay, I could probably get us listed on Binance in a day or two. But I don't have $2 million, so that's not going to happen right away. That's about how much it costs to get listed on Binance from my sources. The price changes depending on how crazy the market is. But that's approximately what I believe it costs to get listed. But don't quote me on that. I could be wrong.
No, I've heard that price point in other projects too, so you're probably pretty close to right.
Yeah. So different exchanges have different prices to get listed. Obviously, it's beneficial to get listed on those, but you do have to work with those exchanges. They are the gatekeepers and they know their value. So we're not, our primary focus is to put all funds towards game development and make this the best game that we can. We're not at the start going to waste any sort of funds on getting listed on these exchanges. The first focus is going to be to create and fund the best game we possibly can.
Yeah, awesome. That's what we all want.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Did you have any other questions?
No, that's it. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay. Darren, I know oh my God, it's been an hour and a half. Really appreciate you
I'm
coming
billing
on.
I'm billing this time out. Is that okay, guys?
Oh God.
No, I always love doing these, guys. I mean, yeah, definitely we're here for you guys. I mean, we're on board to build this beautiful thing, so we're all in it, man.
So really appreciate it, Darren. Guys, Darren, it's not easy actually to get game devs to come on like this. So a big thank you to Darren. from me, especially for coming on here. I asked them just last minute yesterday, like, can you come on and give a little update? So you know, you guys you should post a thank you in the chat if you can to Darren.
And it's
and
very
again, a big
important.
thank you to me.
Yeah, I just want to say I just know that when I invest in something, I want to know what's going on, right? I want to know always where my money's going, and did someone forget about me? Am I being left in the dust? And I want the community to know that we're on it. We're creating stuff, and you just want to know where your money's going, and we're going to show you, you know, as the next few days and weeks progress. So
Awesome. Hopefully that helps, you know, give you guys some confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Any last minute questions for Darren? Otherwise, I'm gonna let you know, Darren, if you have to go, I'll let you.
I'm gonna head out. If no one else needs me at the moment, I will say goodbye for tonight. But again, I will jump in anytime you guys need it. Julian, just let me know when you need to, and I'll get on the schedule and we'll do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All day looks like they're back. Did you have any all day? Do you have any questions for Darren, or just about the token stuff?
No, I don't have no questions for Darren. Thank you so much for answering our questions, Darren.
Sure. All right, guys. All right, have a good night. We'll talk again on a new AMA soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Darren. Have a good night.
All right. See you guys.
All right. See you. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. I got a question. I got my NFTs on MetaMask, right? I'm hearing about hard wallets, and again, I'm new to all of this. Okay, so I was hearing that to put my NFTs in a hard wallet is more safer, as far as hackers coming and stealing my stuff. How true is that?
Okay, so that I would recommend searching on YouTube and Google for that kind of answer. I don't feel comfortable giving you advice on that because if I tell you the wrong thing and something happens to you, it would totally be my fault. So I would recommend that you search on YouTube and watch YouTube videos on the best way to handle that.
Okay, would you be able to, well, you might not be able to answer this question either. As far as the ETH, I remember the Ethereum. I remember I bought Ethereum and I put it on my Coinbase wallet, and it took such a long time to transfer the Coinbase wallet to, I think, Pan helped me out. Transfer my money from Coinbase to MetaMask. Would you recommend, can I just buy Ethereum off MetaMask?
Again, I don't feel super comfortable answering that type of. You're kind of asking more like technical support questions.
Yeah.
And this is only related to Warrior Alliance.
I got you.
So I don't really feel comfortable answering those kind of like essentially technical support wallet questions. That's something I would ask like Coinbase tech support. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say technical support, ask technical support for what? Like the MetaMaskers, or do we have technical support for
I
Warrior?
would reach out to technical support on Coinbase. Do you have any? I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you have any questions
No
related to like the Warrior Alliance token or anything related to that? I just can't provide that kind of, you know,
No,
this isn't like, you know.
no, I understand. No, that's all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much too. Awesome. Okay, guys. So you guys posted a bunch of questions. I wanted to go through those questions. So TNT Dad asked. He actually asked the first question. Are you creating your own token or are you using an established one? We are going to create our own custom token from scratch. So our dev Toby is amazing at creating tokens, and he's created a bunch of different tokens. And he generally likes to create his tokens from scratch to make sure, because when you fork a token from another token, you don't know what kind of random stuff another dev left in there. You know, they always devs are sneaky, some of these devs. So Toby always likes to create tokens from scratch himself to make sure 100% that everything is the way it should be. And as I said, Toby's my personal friend that I've known for quite a long time. And he is very detailed and he's not going to do anything to endanger the project. So that's the actual token script creation. The next person was Toss Hunter, and I already answered his question. The next one is Rocky Raven. And Rocky Raven asked, is there going to be a capped max supply or constantly growing as people earn passive income on warriors? I'm sure there will be some sort of burn mechanism as it blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the supply is going to be capped at 10 billion. And yes, we're going to have burning mechanisms. Okay, so the next one is Billow Zipper, who asked a ton of questions. Did we have Billow Zipper up here yet? Is he even here? Is Mr. Billow Zipper here? I think we should have him up. Okay, Billow Zipper, you need to be in here for me to answer your 20 million questions. All right, if he comes up, then I will answer all of his questions. Now, if he doesn't, I may or may not answer them later if I'm feeling nice. So that's I'm gonna skip those because he asked like 20 questions. Well, maybe I'll circle back. So the next person that asked a lot of questions is Sonorous. Sorry if you hear cat or dog noises in the background. I'm just at my dad's house temporarily. Not because I don't have my own home. I do in Thailand, but I'm here in the US temporarily. So I'm just staying here and he's in the back playing with like the cat or something. I apologize for the unprofessional.
Feeding the cat. Feeding him.
Yeah.
Jerk him out.
Okay, sorry. Is Sonorous here? It looks like he's not here. Josh, do you see him? All right. So I'm gonna. All right, because he also asked a lot of questions. So I'm gonna skip down. We have a couple questions from Wheels, the O Frog. We have Wheels on here. And my wanting to call people up when they and answer their questions while they're on here live is not working out so well. I'm gonna scroll down. Let's see. Soul the Dow. I think we had up already. Soul the Dow asked a bunch of questions, and let me see. Likely only on. Okay, so I answered that already. Answered it. Okay, answered all those. Nicolay Kraken. Is Nicolay here? I don't see Nicolay either. All right, so I'm just gonna answer these. A couple people only asked a few questions, and then we'll circle back. So Nicolay asked, it would be great to get some info re how staking and renting will work, and will they work in tandem or in addition to each other? The answer is they'll work in tandem. I can't really go into much more detail than that. AJ Hinkle asked, AJ Hinkle said they have several supply boxes, including one ultra box, and then go into detail how they're scammed. Sorry to hear about that. And, you know, how they've minted an ultra box. So the main question was, you know, how much yield will an ultra box have compared to the other boxes? And the answer is ultra boxes will yield the highest and more than double a Genesis box. And Genesis boxes are the second highest. Well, I shouldn't say that. Demigod boxes will be on either a slightly higher level or the same level as Genesis boxes. Likely the same level. So it's something to keep in mind for you guys out there. But ultra boxes will be more than double the second highest box. So if you have those ultra boxes, hold on to them. They're extremely valuable. L777 asks, when will the gym membership start for NFT holders? So for anybody that doesn't know, Tony has a gym in Miami, Florida. If you hold an NFT, you just have to show your NFT at the gym and you'll get free access. So that's kind of a cool perk. What effect has the conflict overseas had on the project so far? Oh, this is a question I actually wanted to ask when Darren was on, because I know that. So you know, for one thing, you know, this has created some extreme volatility in the market and caused a lot of fear and uncertainty. So that's something that I think affects everyone here. The biggest thing was that I know Darren has some employees that actually live and work in either Ukraine or Russia. I think both actually, and they were affected by the crisis, and some of them had to even flee the country, flee and became refugees to a degree. So I think he had some issues that were going on there that delayed some development on his end. Unfortunately, he hopped. I kind of wanted to get his take on that, but I know there was a lot of an effect from his end. Sonorous has another question. When will the legendary Dutch auction take place? Also, how many legendaries will be auctioned? I'm not sure about that. We probably won't do any kind of Dutch auction or sell any, new character NFTs for a long time. The goal here is to increase the value of our current supply that we have out in the market and not devalue it by issuing more. Okay, so Wheels, let's let Wheels on because I've got a couple of Wheels questions I was gonna go through. Let's let him up here. Wheels, hello, welcome. You had a lot of great questions. So I'm gonna go through them, and if you want to jump in at any point, you can. Could you maybe you want to unmute your mic and say hello? Okay. I'll just start going through the questions, and then whenever you figure out how to unmute your mic, maybe you
Here
can
we go.
unmute.
I am now unmuted. There we go.
Okay, welcome.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. So I guess you've got my questions.
I've got them. I'm gonna go through them, and then you can comment while you're on. I just think it'll be fun to have that kind of interaction.
Absolutely.
So the first thing you asked, will there be perpetual token generation or will there be a max cap? I think you already know the answer there. There's going to be a hard cap. It's going to be 10 billion. And then you asked about the vesting trajectory. So we're looking at a lock of 3 months and then a linear vest of 6 months, unless the community kind of votes otherwise. If there's huge backlash against that timeline, we can always change it. I thought that was kind of a fair timeline. I talked about locking for 6 months to a year, and a lot of people freaked out when I said that kind of timeline. So I thought 3 months was a little bit more reasonable, and then let it linear vest over 6 months. And if you have any thoughts or comments on that, welcome.
Well, yeah, I think the meat of my question was to get a gauge on how, I guess, the ratio of how fast the tokens are going to be introduced in comparison to how fast they're going to be, burned or deconstructed or whatnot, to kind of see what kind of ratio. So my biggest concern with that question was, are we going to get just completely diluted? That might not be the best word, but just completely overwhelmed in respect to the volume of tokens in a limited period of time, because in doing so is going to have an impact on the token's value. And so I guess the question that where I was getting at is, in respect to the vesting, are we looking at something where the majority of the tokens are going to be introduced gradually into the quote unquote market, or are they going to be basically thrown in there? Because my concern is that if they're thrown in there in a short period of time, then the value of the token in and of itself is going to lose value. Wherein,
yeah. So with the answer that I gave, what are you feeling?
I think that's too soon. I think 6 months is going to be very quick, especially with the amount of plans. What's been speculated as far as what's going to be developed and how it's going to come.
Yeah,
I think that's really quick. I think 6 months is really quick, and I think the token introduction needs to kind of coincide with the development of the community and the development of the game, because I think that if it gets in there, it's going to, and we just completely dump all the tokens, 10 billion tokens into the market, and we're still developing. I think the tokens are going to sit there and they're going to be not as valuable as if they were being kind of spread out over a period of time that kind of coincides with the development of the game.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, this isn't set in stone. I appreciate the opinion. We have to balance how to generate enough interest in the token at the start with preserving the value over time. That's the toughest thing here. So perhaps a linear vest over a year and a half might be better a little bit for the long term of the token, maybe even 2 years. The issue is that when you tell people that they're not going to be able to get all their tokens for 2 years, they kind of balk at that, especially in crypto. That's like saying an eternity. So it's something we're kind of trying to balance, especially because it's a community funded project. I mean, if we had VCs, obviously 2 years would be fine. VC investors wouldn't bat an eye at that. But because we have a community funded token, it's a little bit harder, and why we're trying to shorten it a bit, but at the same time create enough utility with other uses for the token, such that hopefully people will want to hold on to the token and see the value.
Right, but going back to your example, I don't know if it was you or somebody else, referencing bytes. Same thing. I think people want to hold on to a token that has, relative value to the community, and not, I think there's a lot of people who are quote unquote bag holding bytes right now who probably who probably bought in at the beginning of Neo Tokyo's thing, and now they're sitting there and they're holding $11. I don't know what it is today, but it's probably somewhere around $11, and they probably bought in around 80, 90, or 100. And my concern is that
bytes initially came out for free, right? Bytes was a free drop. So,
right.
That's simply market forces. Bytes was free, and you could say it came out at 10 cents or $1. Maybe those people got it for $1. But people that bought for 80 cents, I mean, you can go look at Facebook. People bought Facebook for $300, and now Facebook, I'm pretty sure, is
.6 months is really quick. I think it's especially in respect if you're juxtaposing the development of the utility of the coin or the token, especially with the game development, dumping all of those tokens in prior to any of that. Not only will it, have a lesser value, but it's not going to really encourage people who are not like us, like Genesis, to come in and purchase the token, which is going to affect the value of the token as well.
Yeah, I understand.
So I mean, it's a complicated, and we don't have to. We could spend hours debating this, but that's just, I just wanted to put it out there so that at least it is a matter of conversation. That's all.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and it's a great question, and it's one of the most important questions that I've gone back and forth with in my own head and with a couple people and also our dev, about how do we maximize preservation of the token while at the same time making as many people as possible feel comfortable with participating in this token.
Right.
That's the balancing act that we have to work on. And we're not, this is just a ballpark. It's not set in stone yet. Okay, just to be totally clear. So
sure,
this
sure.
is subject to change. All right. So you also said, will there be anything like the following if you get killed, die, betray, or just in general play poorly in context of the game? You said destruction of items, and my answer is possible. It depends on the item. That's like way in the future thing. We definitely haven't determined any of this yet. Taking away of something, XP, possible. Likely it'll be an item drop. That's what we're kind of thinking. Like you'll take items into the battlefield from maybe your vault that you have, and those items that you bring into the battlefield, it's possible that you could lose those items that you bring with you. While it's a benefit to bring them because it will give you a higher chance of, give you some kind of advantage over the enemy, but at the same time, if you die, you will lose those items. So that's kind of the risk reward with that. You said lose capacity to earn coin in some way. I don't think we're gonna, restrict anyone's ability to earn tokens. Then the next thing you went to was similar to above. Will there be any destruction in the gameplay that will impact the economy? Vehicles, weapons, tools, animals. I can't answer that right now. That's something to be determined. And then you said, will there be leveling up or down for the player? And if so, how will that impact the capacity to acquire coins? Same. Can't. There can be determined. If I had a choice, there's not going to be any leveling. There's not going to be any like, oh, well, you gained experience to get to level blah blah blah, because it's just added complication that I don't think we need with this type of game. But I think the value will come with the items that you acquire and the weapons and armor and stuff like that, rather than the level of your character. But that again, that's something to be determined. That's kind of like icing on a cake, or like the Christmas trees on the house after you built the house there, or the siding. That's kind of something that comes after the fact. So we haven't really decided on that yet. We're focusing on core gameplay and core mechanics first.
No, I got you. I think just to kind of, I guess, give more context of the question, it was like if we have a cap, if we have a max cap of tokens, meaning it's not gonna, it stops at this thing, being able as a player to level up, and the more you level up, the higher you level up, and the harder it becomes to level up, is kind of compared to the amount of tokens that you're able to acquire. I don't know. I just, for me personally, I think that's a good way of building equity in the coin. And again, the majority, as you can probably tell, the majority of my questions are based on the coin value and how it affects it. And I know that you're all about the gameplay and everything, and I totally get that, because we got to have that totally. But these questions that I have are, they're basically around the economy and making sure that the coin has a sustained value. And I think that the leveling up is one of the ways that does that. But anyway, it's a complicated.
It's something to be determined, and it's a very complicated question that we have to properly balance. Trust me that when I say that I understand economies and economic forces, and especially market forces. I literally run a school where we teach people about that kind of stuff. I don't teach anymore. I have employees that do it, but I run that, and I've been doing that for almost 8 years now. And I work with someone who's been doing it for over 30 years. So I totally understand these questions, and they're really good questions. It's just because there's such complicated things to answer, I don't have concrete details yet, because that part of the game isn't even made. So I can't determine the exact economic forces behind it if I don't even have the actual game created yet.
I got you.
Yeah.
When do you guys anticipate having the white papers out?
I'm looking at having the white paper out the end of this month, but it's not going to go into detail about this type of stuff, because this is like extremely detailed. It will more so go into detail about the short-term usage of the token and utility, and the tokenomics and the staking stuff that we're going to have over the next couple of months. It's not going to go into detail about possible game function a year from now.
Yeah, I got you. Cool. Well, Julian,
Awesome.
I appreciate you taking my questions, man. I really do. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. They were great questions.
Thanks, bud.
Oh, and you asked one more. You asked,
I did?
Yep, you said, will there be any future implements into the economy that will bring value, such as new coins, items, or utilities? And if so, what is the anticipated timeline? And my answer was,
I was basically, I was looking, the meat of that question was the DAO, DAO. I didn't know if you guys were, and I think you touched on that earlier.
We are considering it, yes.
Yeah.
Where, your participation in the DAO will be determined by the tokens that you have.
Okay, cool. I did have another question that was further down, and we can go ahead and tackle it now. And you probably have me answered this, not just tonight, but earlier, and I just may have missed it. But the creation of demigods, will that be within the 8888 cap of NFTs, or has that been adjusted?
Yes, so I remember this question, and we haven't determined that, but I'm thinking that it would be better if we make it a separate collection, where it's Warrior Alliance Demigod collection, because we don't know exactly how many. But I want to keep a hard cap on the Freedom Fighter collection and the Genesis collection. I don't want to add to those and create the perception that they're being devalued. I think it would be better to create a Warrior Alliance Demigod collection, where it's essentially an open contract, and anytime anybody wants to submit a male and female legendary along with some tokens, we will then create the demigod, and then it will be added to that collection on an ongoing basis. I think that's the fairest way to do it and most organized.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Okay. Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Julian, thank you, bud.
All right, bye. Sonoris, let's get him up here. He asked like 20 questions. All right, Mr. Black Panther himself. Like that NFT image.
Hey, Jillian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Welcome,
All right.
welcome.
Welcome. I just got out of a school board meeting, so
Oh,
last
okay.
4 hours of my life. That's where I've been. I've missed most of the AMA. So.
Oh my God. So sorry to hear that. It's
Ah,
okay. You can listen back to the to the frivolity of
yeah,
this AMA. It's been kind of crazy.
You're fine. I'll get it, man. I'll listen. But no, I had a ping that said to jump into that you guys were wanting to call me.
Yeah,
up, so.
we've got I'm gonna answer all of your questions, and while I'm
Bingo,
answering them,
man.
you're welcome to comment, yell at me, whatever you want, say no, that's not what I meant, blah blah blah. So without further ado, why don't I just jump into them, and then you interrupt me whenever you feel like it. Don't feel bad. You can interrupt.
Okay.
So you said ETA on token launch, white paper release, and my answer is late this month, or probably more likely April for the token launch, and then the white paper, like I just said earlier, end of this month. That's the target.
Okay. Yeah.
And the next one, you said, how long will staking take after token release? And the plan is to have staking within a couple days of token release, if not on the day that the token is released. You said, what launchpad are we using, and why were those launchpads chosen? And the answer is, we are in discussion with Seedify and Red Kite. They're two of the biggest, most reputable launchpads in the space for ETH gaming tokens. So that's the only reason really we went with them. We don't want to go with anyone that's like a newbie or not reputable. Those are the biggest ones. So that's why we've gone with them, and they've also been receptive to working with us.
Okay.
Your next one was an extremely long question with like 5 lines of text. I'm not gonna. It basically says, is there an overall goal for roughly how much the token will be worth when the game launches?
Yeah,
And
like a dollar ETH amount, like just attached to it.
yeah.
'cause that's
So
like how people work.
I have an answer to this, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a way that I can make the token valued a certain amount? Because if you do, I would love to know.
No, that's why I
No.
trust you with my investment money.
So I cannot guarantee any kind of value for this. All I can tell you is actually it has no value. So that's legally what I have to tell you.
Yeah.
But to be fair, again, this is not financial advice. Nothing we're talking about is related to financial anything.
Of course not.
What I can tell you is that everything is subject to market forces and perception of value. Okay, it's just like you go to the store,
Just like the dollar. Yeah, man, we're good.
Yeah,
I'm
it's anything. Yeah, okay. So do you want me to go into an example, or you're good?
I'm okay. It's just like if we're talking about like how much is it going to cost a kid in terms of tokens to play? Like that's kind of the question. Like, if you read the whole
Okay.
thing,
So
like if
that
our market's a
is something.
teenager, yeah.
Yeah. So that's something we're gonna, like I said, kids can play for free. It's up to you to determine the value. The way I'm seeing this is initially, at least for like certain like battle royale and matches like that, you're going to put up a bet of how much you're willing to put in, and then you're gonna find, maybe we'll have like $5, $10, or we'll probably do it in tokens, of course, and 5 tokens,
that's
10
what
tokens,
I'm saying. Yeah.
or you can pick 0, and then you play with everyone that puts in 0, and then nobody earns anything either.
Yeah.
And you're just
As a
playing for
middle
fun.
school principal, I can tell you that like if you give these kids a chance to make money or crypto, so to speak, like they're gonna be all over it. I mean, like this is like my age demographic.
And of course we can. We will do that via scholarships. Same as Axie Infinity does, where they can rent it out and potentially earn something.
Yeah.
But we can't just let you kind of play for free and then earn for free, right? Because then the total economy collapses. Like there has to be some kind of barrier to entry if you want to earn something.
Yeah, and that's like my question. Like, do you guys have like a rough estimate of what the barrier to entry would be? Like, or is it
It's
just
gonna
like
it's gonna be
determined? Like,
determined by the market. I mean, it's
okay,
just like how Axie Infinity, right? There was a low barrier to entry, then it became super popular, and then the barrier to entry like progressively
grew.
got higher and
Yeah,
higher until then the market dumped, and then the barrier to entry went down.
yeah, and they got a huge like surplus of
Exactly.
problem right now. Yeah,
So we're hopefully not going to have that kind of problem because we're not going to do a dual token system, and we're going to
yeah,
do a singular token system, and we're going to structure it in such a way that it's kind of a give and take.
okay,
So you know, I'm aware of these other games and ecosystems and the pitfalls, and we're working on a way to avoid most of them. But
gotcha.
again, we are at the end of the day, we are subject to market forces.
Yeah, just like everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question you asked is, will the allocation for Ultras and Genesis be a free mint or airdrop? It'll be a free mint.
Okay.
Update on the staking platform / website, please. Okay, so my question is, what update do you want on that?
Like, where is it at? Like, or is it developed? Like you said that the last
Yeah,
time.
so the token website is done. We have a token website that we're going to use for marketing, just for the token, because we've got an entire marketing campaign that we're actually planning for just the token.
Yeah.
Because we want people to get into this token that maybe don't even own NFTs. We want to get like a massive amount of people in here for the token
Yeah.
to
More than merrier. Yeah. Build
try
the
to
economy.
exactly and help our holders gain value from being early holders and early. We there has to be benefit to buying in early. So that's something that we've already got done. And Toby, our dev, is working on the staking platform right now.
I got you.
So that's being worked on. You said, when can we expect staking? And that's next month.
Yeah.
Can we get an update and time frame for the marketing campaign? I can tell you right now, guaranteed, our marketing guy and his team have agreed to kick off the marketing end of this month. Unless there's some type of delay, that there's a potential that there could be a delay. There's always potential. Just understand
Well,
that.
yeah.
But the
I
target
don't
is
hold you
end of
guys
this
to, like,
month.
set dates. Like crap happens, man. Like, I work in public school. Like, crap happens.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. ETA on supply box purchases and costs. Same for weapons and other goodies. So it's roughly 3 days after token launch is the plan for putting the supply boxes up for sale.
Okay.
As far as cost, I believe we were targeting 0.05 ETH.
Ah, bingo.
So
okay.
it'll be around there for the supply boxes. But if you have any Genesis, you of course got those for free. So congratulations, especially since those have the highest yield. The only ones that will get a higher yield would be the demigods, which will get a free mint of the supply boxes.
I got a quick
that's kind of the
question
plan.
on that, Julian. Like, one of my freedom fighters turned into an ultra, and then I did purchase an ultra. So I have 2 ultras.
Oh
and,
wow!
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm a big deal.
You've got the highest
Yeah.
yielder then.
I wake up in the morning like I piss excellence.
major firepower.
Big deal. Yeah. No, I'm
Okay,
joking.
okay.
But Josh had said like I'd be able to purchase like the ultra box, but I just didn't know like if that would be like a thing or not. So, or he said that it was possible.
So the way it's working with the Freedom Fighter collection is it's going to be 0.05 and it's all going to be random.
Okay.
So there will be some random ultra boxes in there.
Okay.
It's just totally random for all of that. The Genesis got the free drop. The Freedom Fighters will get the small purchase price. So then you can stake and earn yield.
Okay.
So that's
so I
that.
won't be able to buy like a specific ultra box for my
they're going to be random.
ultras.
It's all going to be random. Everybody's going to get a lottery ticket. So if you roll one of those, then that's going to be amazing. But if not, you can pick one up on the open market, or you can always stake. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said mathematically, it's unlikely.
You're breaking up. I can't really hear what you're saying. Josh, can you hear what he's saying? Is it on my end, or is it on his end?
I think it's on his end.
You're good. Continue, please.
Okay, I'm gonna keep answering questions. You must have went in like a bad area or something. You said any rough idea on the amount each tier will yield when staking starts? Also, any updates on the multiplier that might be used? So essentially, the supply box times your character is going to create some kind of ratio, and you're going to yield tokens based on that ratio. I can't really say more than that. I think that was your last question. Oh, that was all of them. Did you have any other questions?
Can you hear me, Julian?
Yes, I can.
No, I'm good, man.
All
Sorry,
right,
I'm
awesome.
driving.
Really
so
appreciate it.
If I'm breaking.
It's cool.
Nope,
Appreciate
I got
you coming on. Appreciate you being part of this community. We are going to deliver for you guys, and you know, appreciate the patience.
Yeah, 100%. Like super cool team, super good project, man. So I got no concerns.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, see you, bud.
All right, later. Okay, so Nicolay, I don't know if you're here. If you're not, I'm just going to go through your questions. Nicolay asked, it would be great to get some info re how staking and renting will work, and will they work in tandem? Oh, no, I think I already went through this. I already went through this guy. Yep. Answered. I think I went through all the questions. That was it. The biggest ones were Sonoros, and oh, Bill Zipper. Is Bill Zipper here? Did he ever come in? He's not here. All right, so I'm just going to go through and answer really quick. He said again, the question is about how will the token yield from staking be determined? Do we have examples of different tiers and boxes? So as I said, you know, it'll be determined based on the rarity level of your character plus the rarity level of your supply box. So, you know, you can match a standard with a standard box, or you can match like a premium with a, you know, mystery box. Then that'll give you some type of ratio. Mystery box is the highest box, by the way. That's what the Ultra Legend Genesis got for free. So that's going to give you a different ratio than if you match, say, a demigod with a mystery box or an ultra legend with a mystery box. And there's going to be a calculation for all of those. So that's just something to keep in mind. I'm not going to give you the exact numbers just yet. What I will tell you is that ultra legends from the Genesis collection did get the highest. You know, if you combine them with the box that they got as a free airdrop, then or free. I think it was a free mint. I can't remember if free airdrop or free mint. I think it was free mint. You will have the highest yielding character. That's the highest yielding. The second highest will be the demigod and cargo box, and then the next after that would be a Genesis with a cargo box. Obviously, if you do a demigod with a mystery box, it would be higher, but the second one would be demigod with cargo box. And the cargo boxes are what you got as a free mint with the any Genesis. You got a cargo box. So cargo box is the second highest box. There's not going to be any higher box than the cargo box. We have three other classes of boxes that will come out when we sell the Freedom Fighter box collection about 3 days into the token launch. So then he goes into a really long question about renting out your warrior and the rental fees. And my answer to that is that you are going to determine you're going to get to determine how much you want to rent your character out for, and that's going to be determined by, I guess, market forces. So that's the answer to that. And then he asked, will we be able to stake and rent from the security of a hardware wallet, or do we have to move our warrior somewhere else? And he says, I'm thinking that if we have to move them, that would require cash to do so, which could significantly reduce the token yield that we're able to earn. And my answer is this is not final, but most likely your character will need to be staked on the game server to essentially like lock your character and make it available to rent. I think that's what we're going to need to do. You can't say, for example, have your character for sale on OpenSea and then also have someone renting and playing with it, because I think that you would run into issues with that. So that's the answer on that. And he said, can staking and renting be done at the same time, or is it one or the other? I think it would be fine to stake and rent at the same time, but not so much be okay to say put it up for sale on OpenSea while renting at the same time. He also said, could we make a few how-to videos for novices on how to participate in the IDO, how to stake and how to rent? And I said, yes, we plan to do so, definitely. That's all of Bill's questions. I think I went through all the questions. So that's kind of it. You know, it's been about 2 hours, guys. This is maybe one of the longest AMAs ever. I'm sure everyone here is tired, including me and Josh. Appreciate Josh being on here with having a newborn just on the way, just arrived, you know, not even a week ago. Does anyone have any last questions? Let's take any last questions for like 5 minutes, and then we're gonna call it a night. Oh, Pandash is here. Oh, nope, he disappeared. All right, I'll give it another 2 minutes. 2-minute moment of silence while I look at my gold chart. There's a great entry on gold today, by the way, guys. Not financial advice, but I bought gold at 1900 when it dumped while Powell was talking, and now it's at 1930. That was a beautiful trade, if I must say so myself. All right, Coach Barry, welcome.
Hey, quick question. I know it was mentioned that the training level will probably be done in a few months, optimistically, right? But I think he said that before it's done, there's still going to be some testing from us, right, from the community. So when is the? I should have asked that, I guess, but when is the timeline where we're actually going to get to do anything at all with the game, even like fire at a target? Like
All
when is
right,
the first?
fantastic question. Okay,
Hands on.
so there's one of two ways we can do this. So, and I'm going to explain the dilemma that we're kind of having, because actually we could probably have something out within like, and don't quote me on this, but within like 4 or 5 weeks that you could test. I know Darren could make that. However, what we've noticed is the minute we release anything, even when we say it's super alpha and it's only for the community, somebody's going to take footage, somebody's going to do something, and somebody's going to criticize it as if it's kind of like a final game. So I'm very cautious and concerned about even releasing, super alpha stuff to the community. And I'm thinking that I'd rather take longer to have a few internal testers, like that we have a partnership with Greek Geeks and Gamers. So we're probably gonna have like 1 or 2 people from Geeks and Gamers test out the game first before anyone else, and give feedback and critique. And we're gonna modify it based on that feedback and critique. And then from there, I'll probably select a couple, maybe 5 top holders in the community. OG members that hold, a high amount of our NFTs to probably come in to a secret group and run tests. And maybe I'll make them sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement that they will test, and they're not going to talk about. Like they can talk about it a little bit, but they're not going to share any footage or anything of the game while they're testing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to do something like that, because if I just release it to anyone that's a holder of the NFT, I'm pretty sure people are going to take screenshots, record video, share it all over, make final judgment without really, looking at the wording, which says, okay, this is super alpha early version. And they'll just, assume it's like they're not going to assume, but they'll have some kind of opinion or feelings, and they're not going to care so much about improving it. While if
Yeah.
I pick some like 5 to 10 hardcore community members that have been here since the beginning and really care about this project, and I make them, I don't make them, but I ask them to please sign an NDA and say, look, if you want to be in this group, you have to sign this NDA. Then I think we will get way better feedback, and we will avoid any kind of FUD for the project.
Perfect. So basically, you're telling me that I'm gonna have my hands on this game by Easter. Thank you.
I'm sorry. What did you say? You broke up. What did you say?
I said by Easter that you're gonna have me playing this game as long as I sign an NDA. So I'm thrilled. I think I'm pretty sure you might have even said 4 or 5 days, but we'll just give you 4.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
That makes sense because not many people have any background in video game development and don't realize how shitty things can be or look in the early stages, and like how different it will be in the final build. So
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks.
Exactly. Yeah. Anytime. Thank you for the question. Appreciate you coming up. All right. NFT. Let's go with Snapdragon. Okay, we'll go with NFT because NFT already came up once. But let's go. Quick. What's your question?
Super quick, not a question, but maybe a suggestion piggybacking off of what you just talked about. I'm sure most of us would love to do that testing. Maybe we can do an optional giveaway where the winner would be one of the ones to try that NDA and test the game out. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. All right, next let's have let's pull up next participant. Snapdragon. Is that referring to like Snapdragon processors for say, Android phones?
Whoa, I can like hardly hear you now.
Testing, testing. Hello. Can everyone hear me?
No, it's like when it switched over, it went to like I'm on my cell phone, and I swear it like went to like I'm on a phone call.
Yeah, it'll take you off speaker. You actually got to swipe up from the bottom, and then you can change your audio.
Okay. Anyways, so I just had a quick thing piggybacking off of what you said. Yeah, I think you should definitely do it to some of your like top 5 or 10 or however many holders. Some Genesis holders too. Yeah, because I would love to fucking beta test that game. I will definitely sign an NDA for it. That's all I had. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. Appreciate that. Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. We definitely are going to consider doing something like that after the feedback I just received. All right, any last questions?
Might be good.
Yeah, it's looking like everybody got all the answers. I don't want to leave you guys with like unanswered questions. I want to answer everything that I can so everybody feels good about this project. And if we disappear for a couple days or we don't give an update for like 5 or 6 days, please don't like freak out and have a panic attack. We're here to work on this. We're here to stay. And I especially brought Darren up to show you how serious we are about this project, and how professional we are, and how we are taking this very seriously. Oh, okay. Somebody said a good amount of us can't come to the stage, so we've been asking in here. Where are those questions? I don't know if we're going to do a multi-pack discount on the boxes. That hasn't been determined. All right, so there's questions in the AMA questions. Let's see. Okay. Lonely Camel. Am I able to buy a comparable supply box for my Genesis? Just purchase a Genesis. Yeah, you can buy a supply box on OpenSea. Will there be a cap on number of supply boxes or unlimited? No, there would be a cap. It's basically capped at the equivalent number of warriors. We're not going to create more. There's no point. It's going to be the same. Randy asked, will the Genesis box yield more than the next mint of boxes? Yes, the Genesis boxes will yield more. Would it be possible to let holders buy official merchandise with the token? Yeah, that's definitely something we can do. Appreciate the question, Junk Dog. And you also asked, do we need a male and female cargo box to get a demigod box? That's an interesting, that's not something I thought about. A demigod box. I didn't even think about having demigod boxes. We were just going to give, basically if you created a demigod, you would get access to possibly a mint of a demigod box, which would not really be a demigod box. It would be a cargo box, which is the equivalent of the Genesis cargo box. Something that we've got to think about. As of right now, we weren't going to do anything like that. If we need boxes to stake and get tokens, how are we supposed to use the token to buy them? Yeah, so you're going to be able to buy the box with either ETH or the token. And the token you'll get access to, either you can buy it on the open market or you can buy it from the IDO. And you just have to own the character NFTs, right? Okay, so holy crap, there's a lot. Let's keep going up. But I know it's not the priority, but will we see weapons and vehicles airdrop for Genesis in Q1, or will that be? So that's going to be pushed back to Q2. This roadmap that came out is not 100% right, and it needs to be updated again. Actually, to be perfectly honest, between me and everyone that's left on here, I really hate these roadmaps because if we miss like one thing, then the roadmap's wrong, and then I have to go back and I have to talk to whoever created the roadmap, and I have to update it again, and it's just like extra annoying, useless work. So it's it's constantly changing. So personally, I hate these roadmaps, especially when there's like as much detail as we've been putting into them. So if I could vote for like a very undetailed roadmap, I would, and I would totally change things. But I know people like to see a lot of details. So that's kind of my opinion on the roadmap. We're gonna have to update that again, just like how on the website we have to update it. But I need to get the website guy to update it and modify it, and then he has to send it to our Webflow guy, and then that guy has to push the changes, and then it'll be live. So it's just like a bunch of extra waste of time steps. Let's see. The Pied Piper said, "Oh, that's not a question. He just said, what's good, mofo's?" Okay, Prometheus Layer said, something is not clear to me. To upgrade to demigods, we need tokens, but as Genesis holders, do we need to purchase tokens, or will we get them as yield? Okay, so as a Genesis holder, you are going to get a small free mint of tokens, and you will also get a location to purchase them in our IDO, so then you can use them to purchase the box, and also use them to basically burn them to create your demigod. When will the option to rent to pro players be available? I have no idea. Later, when the game is made. Can we repeat the timeline on token launch? Yeah, I talked about that before. When you enter IGO and you are vested, can you still use your tokens for supply boxes or no? Yeah, I think you'll be able to use your tokens if you're vested. You're just not going to be able to use them. I gotta ask our dev if it's possible. I have to ask. I would think you would be able to. You just can't exchange them and sell them basically, but you could burn them. But I have to double check with our dev because that's something with the smart contract. How are we going to deal with inflation of the token? I talked about this. King Crypto, I already answered, and we had a nice discussion. Okay, I see more. So there's a time frame for breeding demigods. I mean, I don't think there's an exact time frame, but we'll probably just allow like maybe 6 months to a year for you to breed a demigod, because obviously it's a manual process. Like once you activate the demigod thing, we're gonna like probably issue you some kind of egg or some incubation thing. I think the coolest thing, we'll probably figure out some art and make some kind of art. It'll be like a little incubation tube you're going to be issued, and it's going to say your demigod is being created and grown in like a lab, and then it'll take however long it takes for Darren's team to create that demigod in 3D and rig it up for you. So we'll probably do something like that, just to answer your question, Mr. Wampus. I don't know why I call you Mr. Wampus. That's just what pops into my head. Just to confirm, how many tokens do Genesis holders get? I can't tell you that right now because I don't have an exact final number, so I can't tell you. Sorry, Mr. Zeke. Okay, some people are typing. All right, you guys have. I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes, and then I'm cutting it off. Okay, and we're gonna go to 10:32. Junk Dog said, okay, so Wampus said, I meant how until we can start, like a month or 2 from now. I would say probably about maybe a month and a half to 2 months. I would say, let's get the token launch and the cargo boxes all done and staking underway, and then we would do demigods next. Will the cost of cargo boxes be the same between ETH and ammo, or will it be cheaper to buy with ammo? Likely we will make the cost the same, but it is a possibility that we will make it slightly cheaper with ammo. It's not a bad. I didn't even think of that. That's not a bad idea. We might want to make it cheaper with ammo to reward anyone that purchased the token and is involved in our token. Not a bad idea. Appreciate that idea, Junk Dog. And I like that you have WA in your name like that. That's cool. Will the token yield be staking or yield farming? Okay, I must be tired because I don't understand that question for some reason. I think you can. So you can stake your NFT. The plan is you can stake your NFT and you will earn tokens, and then you will also be able to take your same tokens and then stake the tokens and earn a yield on those tokens. Is that what you mean? Like, do we need to stake our NFT by contact? Is my point. What? Do we need to stake our NFT by contract? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to stake it and it has to be linked to the contract, but that's a dev question. I'm gonna iron out all of this 110% with our dev, and then I think I will do an AMA with him. I'll bring Toby on, and Toby can answer these questions in extreme detail. What liberty/input do we as owners have with the demigod design? From my understanding, you can make whatever you want. It just has to be like a humanoid type. It has to be like humanoid. It can't be like some random dog or like a pink fluffy bunny. I think that's not gonna work. It could be like maybe a humanoid fluffy bunny, but not like a bunny-sized fluffy bunny, if you know what I mean. Or like like a I mean, you could even do like a hobbit if you wanted, as long as it has like 2 legs and 2 arms. I think it's fine. But if you ask for something like Jabba the Hutt or some kind of weird body thing, I think it's going to be a no. What are the benefits of holding a legendary freedom fighter as far as tokens go? So yeah, a legendary freedom fighter is going to yield not only going to be able to allow you to create a demigod, but it also will yield. It will be the 3rd highest in the yield. It'll have the only things above a legendary freedom fighter would be a Genesis and a ultra legend and demigod, of course, when those come. But demigods aren't going to come till later. I'm pretty sure Tony said no furries. Yeah, he did. We're not going to have any furries. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I'm a little bit getting tired. Rosie O'Donnell with the body of Richard Simmons. Yeah, you could do that. Go crazy, as long as it's humanoid. I don't see why not. I think Chris, our other co-founder, actually created a demigod of his. He had them create his Neo Tokyo Citizen as his demigod. So that was kind of cool and an example of something you could do. All right, you guys got 2 minutes. Actually, it's 1 minute, but I'm going to give you 2, and then we're calling it a night.
Yeah, it would be great to
Yeah, so
shut things down soon. I got a sleeping child on me.
Yeah, we're going to shut it in 1 minute. You retain the legend you use when breeding demigods, correct? Yes, you do retain the legends. That, to be perfectly clear, is I didn't think that you should. I thought you should have to burn the legends, but we made a team decision that you can keep the legends. But that's why you're going to be charged some tokens and have to burn tokens at least. So yeah, so that is going to be given out, Barry. They haven't been awarded yet. Tony, the thing that happened is something like somebody broke into Tony's car and stole all of those. So we had to. He's getting them like remade, and I have to talk to Tony about that. And then we're gonna award those and even mail those out to people. So that's something I have to talk to Tony about because we are definitely gonna still do that.
Okay, crazy. I didn't know that happened. So yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, I think he
Not
mentioned
cool.
that actually on the last AMA that somebody broke into his car and stole them.
Damn.
Yeah.
The person that steals from Tony is pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think they didn't know it was Tony's car.
Yeah, I guess not. So I didn't have a question. All I want to say is there's been so many projects. There's like a million NFT projects, and the market's shit, and everything else. But it just totally reassures me, and I'm sure everybody else. Like every time we have an AMA and we see how professional you guys are, the plans you have, and the people behind the scenes, and that when this community is a little quiet or you guys are a little quiet, it's because there's so much happening behind the scenes to make this thing amazing. So thanks for all the work you guys are doing and just for taking the time and the hours away from your babies and everything else to do this. But yeah, I'll speak
So
for the whole
you
community.
cut off
This is
there.
probably the most under the radar project out there. Like it's gonna knock people's socks off when it actually comes to fruition.
Thank you so much, Barry. Really appreciate that. I mean, if you guys, if you have ever any questions about our integrity or anything related to this project, just go to the website and look up each of us. Like look up Chris, look up Tony, look up me, and look at the other stuff that we're involved in and the other companies that we run. And you can even look up reviews, at least on my company, just to see you know, the kind of integrity behind this and what we've done with other things that we've worked on. I mean, obviously Tony, if you look at any of his social media, you know that he kind of, you know, speaks for himself with all of that. And Chris also runs a big marketing company, so you could also probably look that up and look into Chris. You know, you don't just invest in a project and an idea, you also invest in the people behind the project. And you know, we're all doxxed, and you can look us up as public figures and what we've done in the past, and you can see that we've followed through and done a good job with everything that we've worked on. And this is just another step. All right, Josh needs to go. I went past way over what the plan was. Hopefully, you know, you guys got a lot out of this AMA and you enjoyed it, and it answered all of your questions. I will try to set one up with Toby in the future to answer questions about the exact specifics that I wasn't able to answer tonight. Probably in, we'll say like 2 weeks or so when we get closer to the token launch. But I guess, you know, that's kind of all for now. Josh, do you have anything you want to say before we sign off?
No. Thank you everyone that's been rocking with us and holding it down. Everyone that's been greeting the new people coming in, filling them in, bringing them up to speed. We really appreciate all that, and we're gonna continue to work hard for you guys. So we hope everyone continues to stick around and rock with us, and we appreciate the support.
All right, same for me. Thank you everybody. Everybody, you know, have a, wherever you are in the world, have a great rest of the day. Have a great night, and you know, I'll talk to you next time.
Good night. Thanks, guys.
All right, bye
Bye.
everybody.